Okay.
Hello, and welcome to our very latest episode of Morning Quest with Doodle and CMoney. I am CMoney, and I am joined by the always lovely Doodle.
What's up, everyone? Happy Sunday. Thank you so very much for rocking out with us today. Let's get it. Rise and shine.
Rise and shine indeed. Listen, it's been a minute. It's been a minute, but we're back on a Sunday morning, and it's glorious. That's right. We're here.
And on time.
And on super on time. Super on time. All right. That's like our motto. You know what I'm saying? How does that apply to us? Just go with it. Got it. All right. Just want to make sure. Listen, first of all, I heard an echo. Can you mute your mic for a second? And then that's a good question. I'm the echo, but I just need you to mute your mic for a second. It should reset. Oh, I don't know. We'll see. Guys, thank y'all so much for being here, man. It's Sunday morning quest. Y'all know what it is. We got a lot of fun stuff. I'm definitely hearing that super echo. Is wild. Can you check your settings to make sure that you got NVIDIA broadcast? What box turn off? The volume box. The volume box. The dingling. The wave dingling. That's fun. Interesting. It came back on. So the wave dingling
Yeah.
is
So
now
halfway loaded. Yeah, it's good.
so now we're good.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, I don't hear the echo.
There you go.
So
I fixed it. Guys,
So the
thank you.
dingling saved everything.
Dingling. Listen, sometimes
Yeah.
sometimes it saves the day, you know?
No, I agree. 100%. Absolutely. Well, now that is solved, shout out to everybody who's here, man. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for being here. We have some fun stuff to talk about, man.
Yes.
The main topic, or the first topic of the show, as you can see, is the Game Science CEO questions the Game Awards Game of the Year selection criteria. I wonder why he feels that way. I wonder why. In all of the history of people losing at the Game Awards, no one, from my knowledge, has ever come out and questioned why they lost. And that's because typically the Game Awards gaudy nominations, sure, they might be missing Xbox games because we know it's PlayStation, natives over there who are voting for everything. But this is like the first time, and I wouldn't say the first time because other things have won that were like, what the but like this is like the first time that a game clearly has no reason to even be in the conversation, yet it beat out games that clearly were more ambitious, had more production value. People claim they love that are amazing, yet that little punk ass robot still won. And look at them. They're coming out here. They're mostly upset. He's just saying what everybody else was thinking, what you saw
Absolutely.
Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, and the other dude and Aaron Greenberg thinking, right? Listen, Phil, the team, you can say
They
what he
didn't
want.
say anything though, like, right? Like, they
Well,
didn't
not at
say
least. I
they
wish they
I wish
did.
they
I wish
did,
they
but they
did.
didn't.
It's not at
They were
least.
being criticized for the fact that they weren't sitting there like, "Oh my gosh,
Well,
what
well,
a
it
win."
tells the
And
story.
it's
It tells the
of
story.
course it does, right? So, it's just this is messy.
Dude,
Uh,
the announcer, when he was saying it, listen, we're gonna get into it. I don't wanna go too
yeah,
deep
you're
right now.
you're going too deep,
Get into it.
CMoney. What are you doing, boy?
It's just I'm just so it's just funny because those gallopers, right? They come out and they try to act like it's a us thing. Like, "Oh, look at these cry Xbox word. Oh, so now what about that game that you guys were sweating so hard, Black Myth? Cry him too? Cr cry Black Myth CEO, cry." Is that what you're gonna say to him? The guy that you were guzzling his junk because you loved his game that he gave you exclusively for a while? Oh, interesting. Interesting how the scenario changes. It's fun times, fun times. Hold on. Wait, come on, man. Don't act. All right. But yeah, it's wild. And then we got some other fun stuff that we're gonna talk about, obviously, depending on time and such. But I don't know if you guys saw the little rumor that Lego Ho might be coming to Xbox in the next few months, which
It's not
obviously
surprising.
no one and their mother was asking for that, but it's just further shows that the scenario is just it's going to keep changing, right? It's going to keep going. There's another little tidbit that kind of this can lead into, which is Jez Cordon going out there, which Jez is cool. I don't know why the propagation of the same news or the same idea keeps going. So now he says Xbox will no longer have any exclusives, except when you read the comments, it's like, well, they don't mandate it because they're leaving room for the people who, you know, don't make games for PlayStation. So I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't quite make sense to me. But we'll talk about that as well. Before we do that, you know what it is, man. It's Sunday morning. We have to go out and shout out all of our homies who support us like y'all do in such a major way. So we appreciate each and every one of y'all. So let me go ahead and get this rolling. We're going to start with our Patreon members. We got the homie Zach McCoy, Adidas 20, Red Sun, and Spoon Man. And then, of course, we got our YouTube squad members. You got the homie Smitty Smith, Avenged Ninja, Zach McCoy, Why So Serious, J Mac, Crimson X25, Bounty, 5.0 Trade Gaming, Rainbow, Hargi Shani, Raging Cajun, Abacab 72, Demo Flow Gaming, Lord Star Killer SSX01, Machine XP, L Paul, Cage Feeler, Chaos Theory, Game Shark, Night Eternal, Spartan 661, Trey Unda, Boss Red 77, MCell 101, Razor Ultron, Lawrence Davenport, Angry Hippie, Raiden Blade, G Myers, E Ranks, Six Slayer, Philly Gangsta, Will Broke Boy Lewis, Ryu Art Gaming, Be Nice, Forza Legend, Adidas 20, Abdel 114, Space Shot, Gogo Pole, Duke Togo 13, Edward Lafferty, Cullen Prime, Eastside Vandal, Gummy Hernandez. I feel like I'm on point. Like I'm so fast ahead of this thing. I gotta like wait because I'm just too good at this now. I remember at a time we had to catch up to it. Got the homie Fark You, Platano J, Sanchez, MTZ Gaming, Rashawn Eppinger, Queen Blueface, Big Man Mo, Dave Reezy, Chicka J, Isaac Hayes 85, Marcus Hobby, Dion Hayes, Talis Ray, Kenneth Williams, Quan the Terrible, Kurt, User for Games Bell, B Martin 001, Smokes the Ism, Micah Ford, Mash, Royal Boyle 78, Lord Louis, Hyper King X3, Storm Bless, Maurice Branch, Malcolm X Lax. I got Mash twice. Look at that. Double duty for Mash. Lad and Mac 22 TH54. Appreciate y'all so much. Thank y'all. And of course, our elite members, man. We got the homie Big Boy Mike, Dark Angelic, and Spoonman. And our inner circle members got the homie Big Mix Gaming and Coach Hooded Canuck. Thank y'all so much for supporting us, man. It means a lot to us. So we appreciate each and every one of y'all. Now, you know what it is. Being here live in the building with us right now. You're supporting us in such a major way, and we appreciate each and every one of you. But we do have to see who was first in this bitch. That's right. Who are the top 3 people? The first 3 people in the building. Let's go ahead and get to it. Number 1, brand new for sure. You ready?
Yes.
It is the homie, Hanno. Thank you, brother, for being first in the building, man. Says, can't blame him, can you? I mean, no, we can't blame him. That's just the fact. But Hanno being first time being first. That's dope. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for rocking with us. And then we got the homie, who's no stranger to the top 3. That's right. It's our boy, Dova 360, second in the building. That's right. And rounding out the top 3, our boy, Music 72.
What's good?
Thank y'all, brother, for being here, man. Appreciate you, fam. Now, listen.
For being here, guys.
I'm looking, and I could see here that E ranks so close. Man, 4th again, shaking my head. Listen, you weren't anticipating, Hanno coming in for the sweep right there. He wasn't playing around. You almost were number 3, but you weren't. So you're number 4. So you're gonna have to live with that until the next opportunity. That's all I'm saying. Music 72 # blame Hanno.
Leave Hanno alone.
Hey, it's not his fault that he was quicker with the trigger. You know what I'm saying? Trying to blame him. What's going on here? Like everybody trying to help E-Ranks out. Well, at least you're the second member. Yeah, you're the second member. That's not even the first member. Like it's the second member. That's funny. He said, "Oh well." # silver linings. Oh, that's a good time. Jacob Novik in the building. What's up, man? He says, with Obsidian releasing both Avowed and the Outer World too, next year is going to be great. Also, Obsidian teased that they're not done yet due to a LinkedIn found a while back. We know that another game is coming. I mean, it'll be wild if they do 3 games this year. We talked about a little bit. Demo had clipped the idea that they said, and you haven't seen anything yet, or you ain't seen nothing yet. But then we also saw that that's the last song they used in the trailer for Outer Worlds 2, so that might be.
Also, they know obviously everyone was excited about it, and it's like, you haven't seen nothing yet when it comes to like the game. There's so much more that they're hype for everyone to see and experience. It can also be taken in that context. So we'll see.
Yeah, it just depends. He also brings up something that we probably would have mentioned. But Jeff Grubb claims that a Xbox game that not yet have a 2025 release date is being delayed to 2026. So it's claimed Jeff Grubb is saying that there was going to be another game that they were going to announce dropping this year, but they're pushing it to 2026. Well, I don't know. We have seven major first party games, 8 if you count Towerborn, that should be releasing as well. Like, I think we're good. You know what I'm saying? I think you can push back some stuff, especially if you haven't even told us about it yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, just save them. I don't we don't need to go that crazy.
Well, I think
Let it cook.
that,
Let it
it
cook.
was such a big deal with, or people trying to make such a big deal about being moved to February, right? And we obviously understood why that decision was made, and it kind of like it just it happened. The time, passed when it was supposed to go ahead and release, and it didn't really we didn't miss it, right? Like, it was like, "Okay, well, there's plenty there for us to play." So, I think it's whatever it's not ready, and it's that simple. That's the way I see it when you're out here. If you had 1 game a year and you're delaying that game, that it's an issue, but, I mean, not the way they're pumping out games. So I
Agreed.
think that that also is gonna be something that's gonna lose impact, in the way they try to frame it and put it out there. To me, it was always it doesn't matter. You have to go ahead and make sure, especially from Xbox, that the games are ready, right? Because they will figure out any excuse to go ahead and rip it apart. It doesn't matter if it's a good game or not, right? It could be the best game out there. If they find anything wrong with it, they'll go ahead and create an issue out of it. So at times it's best to kind of just make sure that you're putting your best foot forward. And if you have to delay a game, delay the game.
Yeah, I think we know now at this point that, Xbox is just not they're not rushing these things. They're putting out games that are ready to get put out. They want the games to do the best, to be the best that they can be, and that's all we can expect. Because again, this is Game Pass, right, for us, right? So that's the way we gotta look at it. We getting these games in Game Pass, and we want the highest quality that they can make, and that's what they've been doing ever since Redfall, right? So it's just keeping it on point, and that's what we want. Kurt, user for Games Bell, man. What's up, man? Thank you for being here,
Good
bro.
love.
Ender Lord Joe, what's up, fam? Thank you for being here. Snooky Jackson
Yo!
in the building, man. Thank you for being here, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Dark Angelic, what's going on, fam? Oh, Dark Angelic has a message
Dark
for us. Thank you, brother, for
angelic.
being here. Thank you for
Good
that $5 super chat,
morning.
homie. Says serves
Thank
game science right. Lie with the ponies, wake up with the fleas. Oh, snap. Damn. Bars. Bars. This is the
Nice
truth.
nice and early.
Nice and
Gotta
early. You can't
slap you up.
no delay. No
Okay,
delay. First thing.
alright, I'm digging
First
it.
thing. That's it. We ain't playing around.
Just
Queen
so you
Blueface.
know.
Absolutely. Well, you can always count on him to
That's
give him
right.
the truth. You know what I'm saying? Give him them bars. Queen Blueface in the building. What's up, man? Thank you for being
What's
here.
good, baby? Good morning.
Razor Ultron, what is up, fam?
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, bro. Appreciate you. Says we don't want that shit over here. I'm assuming he's talking about Lego the Hoe. Yeah, I mean we really don't. But it be what it be. It's gonna be fun to talk about it anyway. No sir in the
What's
building. What's
good?
up, man? Thank you for being here, homie. Uh Music 72 says, what is the YouTube squad? YouTube, that's that's what we that's what they call it, the squad members. Don't question it. Music, right? They're YouTube squad members, okay? That's what it is. Stop. All right. Questioning our shit. What's going on,
The
man?
members, we just we labeled it a certain way. That's all.
Yeah, yeah. That's all. That's all. Cage Feeler, what's up, man? Says the
He still
industry makes
he
my
asked
brain hurt.
again. He doesn't know. He
Of
doesn't know.
course. Listen, just accept it, man. Okay. Um, Dark Angelic says the member from YouTube as opposed to Patreon. Yes. Okay. It's not that difficult music. God damn it. McFig in the building. What's up, man? Gun Griffin, what's going on? Player Void Rat, what's up, homie? Rody
Ungriffin.
Revenge. What's up, man? Thank you for being here. Oh, Gun Griffin. Did I say Gun Griffin already? I
Yes.
did. Gun
What's
Griffin
up,
back
love?
in the building. What's up,
Yes.
man? Thank you for being here, man. Uh,
Music 72 wants to know why he's not on that list. But I'm not on that list. I think yes.
Maybe it wasn't updated properly. Listen, there's a lot of time going on now. Like a lot of stuff happening. Sometimes they don't get updated 100% correctly. All right, we'll see. I have to look at it. I'll update it. You know what? I ain't even gonna let you wait. All right. Look at how much. Look at this. Watch. You ready? Just for you.
Aw.
Look at that. Gonna go here. Gonna go a little bit with the music. 72. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Bam. I mean, you're not gonna see it for a while. You're at the end of the list. But
It's
you
coming. It's coming.
well, actually, if I'm out here making changes, I might as well just take out the double too. You know what I'm saying? Let's get rid of the double that was over here so we don't have to live that life. All right, bam. Look at that. Now completely updated. And now you're on the list. You see? There you go. That's all it took. Reggie Bone in the building. What's up,
Reggie,
man?
what's good?
Thank you for being here, bro. Thank you for being here. Steam Machina. How you doing,
Oh,
bro? Appreciate it. Oh, the homie Dan
Dan
Lazaro, man. Thank you for being
Lazaro.
here, bro. Thank you for that $2 super chat.
Thank you,
Says you
love.
seeing drones over there? They ain't no drones over here,
Not
man.
here.
But supposedly in Jersey, that's where they are. I don't know. And
Supposedly.
I saved it. I was gonna show it to you. So another thing that happened in Jersey was people were listening to the radio, listening to the Christmas channel,
Yeah.
right? And then all of a sudden, the station gets taken over.
Oh my gosh.
No,
Oh
and
my
you hear
gosh.
sounds that sounds alien-like, and
Okay.
multiple people have this clip, and they all put it. Yo, why don't you believe?
Oh, come on, man. Are you kidding me? With the technology nowadays, anybody can say anything and make something seem like something that it's not.
Hey, with technology today,
Come on,
who's to say that you can't make yourself an alien? You know what I'm saying? And they just live out there now. Maybe they did
please.
that. Come on, man. We don't know.
Aw, look, you guys have freaking Cage out there looking crazy, looking for drones. No, Cage, don't believe the nonsense. It's all right. It's all right. Don't let them get to you.
Listen, I'm just like the AI robots. I'm keeping myself open. I don't want no alien to walk in here and be like, "You didn't believe." I'm like, "Whoa, what do you mean?"
Okay.
I,
Well,
I'm pretty
listen.
sure you were around. You know, who knows? I'm not gonna say no. I'm not gonna deny it. I don't know. Corey, no for
Guys
life,
freaking
man.
out our
What's
Jersey
up,
boys.
fam?
Don't listen to
Thank you for
that,
being
Cage.
here. Oh man, that's funny. Uh, So Rody Rivera says Indiana Jones, the real game of the year. Black Myth Wukong had a bad PlayStation 5 release that got swept under the rug. Yeah, but you know what? I much rather have Black Myth win than that crap robot. You know what I'm saying? But I agree. I mean, that's just the truth. Syrup 2, what's up, man? Thank you for
Yo.
being here. The naughty dog poop being attacked right now. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it on the last show as well, but yeah, that is going. That's not stopping. That's not
I don't
stopping.
think it's gonna stop anytime soon, and we'll see what happens and what comes from it. But I think we've gotten to the point where it's not like this is not even about the game itself. Like no one's played the game, no one knows the story, and it's
Dude, I
like,
see people make ridiculous swaps on the character too.
yeah,
Like, I'll fix it, and they put like this random Asian woman with like long hair, and it's like, look, fixed. And it's like, what the like that looks so out of place on that ship. She looks nothing like a bounty hunter. Like, why is this happening? But
yeah,
this
they're
is what it
wilding
be,
out
man.
there. They're doing and it's not as obviously as intense, right, as everything that's going on. But they're doing the same thing with The Witcher 4.
Oh
They're
yeah,
trying to
yeah, yeah, yeah.
create a movement with that as well. And it's like,
Seriously.
what?
It's just like what are we doing, dude? And you know what the problem is? It's like it floods your timeline.
It
You know
does.
what I'm saying? Like for what because people are retweeting it or just I guess people see it and because they're seeing it,
Entertaining
it
it.
populates it in your timeline and it's just like it's nonstop. It's like I just see this stuff over and over and it's like what are we like I mean I'm also seeing a lot of people trying to like go on the other side of it like why is this an issue? And like I really don't understand. Like we talked about it on the last show a little bit with the idea of like, how much of a overcorrection and it's not about that game in particular, but just the idea of like I think we're going to see a lot of these games focus on doing the correction because at that time when these games were all starting to be made, everyone was like, "Okay, let's go ahead and do this." So we're getting a lot of games in that kind of vein. Um but it's like, what's the like, what? what does it matter? You know what I'm saying? Like, the game is the
The
game.
games are
Let's
still being made, the games are
yeah,
still
like
coming out, and, yeah, I think everyone was trying to kinda get with the times and the changes that needed to be made, and it just happened to hit all kind of like in one shot. I'm sure the next wave will be more balanced, but it man, it's just it is what it is, right?
well I somebody I don't know if somebody in the chat, I don't remember who it was, but said that, or maybe it was Hargeet actually, said the problem is that you end up, when the pendulum swings too far on one side,
Yep.
then it kinda basically swings back, right? And the issue that can possibly come from this is because these people are spending so much time making a game, and as much as, the actual facts of whether or not this like woke DEI movement from the negative perspective of the people who are making it a negative, right? If whether or not knowing for sure that that's the reason why your game failed, right? Because that's the noise on Twitter, that you don't see the other millions of people, right? It's a small amount of people. Um, but the noise can make them question it, right? So it's like, well, last game we put out got ripped because of this. Now do we kind of go back,
It will make
right? Do
you
we go back
question, yeah,
before they
is it
spend the money,
because
right?
of this, or are was it the game itself? And that's the thing, and, like, listen, Concord had got hit with a little bit of that, but I thought it was the game itself, so
The
don't
game just
let's
sucked, dude. The
don't
game just
question
sucked.
that. But it becomes a thing that you then you have a situation where you're kind of trying to figure out what really buried the game, and I don't it doesn't it's just so much it's everyone wants to have something to say, and it's so toxic, and they want to make sure that everybody hears about it. It's so invasive.
Agreed. Agreed. And the thing is, like, we see a lot of like the Stellar Blade get swapped in, like, oh look, or they're comparing her to Stellar Blade. And I think we read it. Somebody put a post up, and it made so much sense, like it resonated. And that's why it's kind of like, if everybody did indeed want that game, if they wanted to play as that Stellar Blade character,
Where
why
are the
did it sell
sales?
so little? You know what I'm
Where
saying? Like,
are
why
the
did it sell
sales?
so little?
Like,
Why
who
is it not
it
huge?
makes you wonder, right? And as the developers, they should also wonder, like, if this was it, then why was Stellar Blade not a huge success, right? If the people who are speaking out care so much about what the character looked like, then again, and Stellar Blade should be it, then where are the sales?
Exactly.
And when did we cross that line where, like, it makes me question, does everyone know that these are fictional characters? Like, you're playing their story, right? But you're like, that's not your girlfriend. Like,
Hey, hey,
we're
hey,
uh,
don't
like
talk about their girlfriends like that.
this is wild. Like, when was that line crossed? Like I understand a little bit of like delusional crap going on, but like, let's calm down. Like, this is not a relationship that you have. Like, there's always been characters out there, right? And as much as you love Mario or Master Chief, you're not them. You're just playing the story.
Can you imagine somebody coming out with a post like, "Why does Mario look like this? Here, I fixed it," and they like make some not fat, ugly plumber. You know what I'm saying? Like, I fixed it. Ooh, now I'm ready for that for that goodness. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. This is some clown shit.
Or Astro Bot not being a real robot. He's like, come on. You think of a robot, you think of a big, strong, like, what are we doing? Where is this? Where's the line? Quick to criticize. And it seems to always be on the female side that people have so much to say. It's crazy. It's
Facts.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's obviously this is just some weirdo behavior. But we've seen that, right? I mean, look, we didn't cover the story, but you know, Pornhub announced their thing, and PlayStation's at the top of the list. You know what I'm saying? Like they took the crown. The
It's worse
vast
than we
majority.
thought, you guys. It's
They don't
worse
even
than we
have a web
thought.
browser. They don't even have a web browser, dude. They hack around to find a way to use their PlayStation to go ahead and watch this stuff nonstop. So this is just the mentality of them. But at the end of the day, you know, it's just I don't know how long we're gonna keep seeing the same thing. But then it just kind of keeps circulating, right? Because it becomes the news, and you know, you kind of have to talk about it because if you don't talk about it, then that becomes the
The
only
narrative,
narrative. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Where it's like somebody needs to say how stupid it is. You know what I'm saying? Like it needs to get out there,
That
but
needs to be spread
it
too,
needs to be spread
right?
too. Facts, facts. That being said, we got our boy Mash
Let's
in the
go,
building.
Mash. Thank
Oh
you,
boy,
bro. Good morning. Thank you for
bro.
rocking out.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you, homie. It's very, very kind of you. Y'all know what to do.
Tell 'em, baby.
Put the motherfucking welcome to the family emoji in the chat. Welcome to our newest members, man. We appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all for rocking
Mash,
out with
thank you
us.
so much
And
for
of course,
gifting 10
Mash.
on point for gamers memberships. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
bro.
man. Very kind of you, homie. I see we got the homie Will Broke Boy Lewis, got Curl, Curry Cosmos, 504 Trey, Kai Jr., The Slanderous Truth, John Ugly Scanova. What the Ugly Casanova? That makes a little more sense. Jeffrey Garcia, J Law, Lucifer, yeah, and Nocturnal 85. Thank y'all, man. Well, again, we appreciate
Welcome, you
y'all.
guys, and
And
thank you,
then,
Mash.
of course, Mash, thank you, bro. Very, very kind of you as always, man. You're the man. Thank you, bro. We got the homie Starkey Love in the building. Thank you both for
Oh,
being here, man. Thank you for that $10 super chat.
thank
Says
you.
the fact that Game Science lied about their game not being on Xbox because of dev issues when it was really an exclusivity deal should have been a huge scandal. But of course, gaming, quote unquote, media ignored it. Of course, because it's always as long as it works in PlayStation's favor, right? Then there's no bad story, right? If it's good for PlayStation, we don't need to talk about it. We don't need to make it a big deal. It's fine, right? It's fine. It's only if it's negative against Xbox, then it becomes a story, right? Then it becomes everything, right? Jez wrote a tweet about something that he's thinking, um, and everybody's running with it now, right? You see it everywhere, it comes up everywhere, and this is just what it is, man. Negative Xbox sales, negative PlayStation doesn't, so they don't talk about it. It's just what it is, man. These people are delusional. But thank you, brother, man. Appreciate you. And of course, our boy Ultraman in the building. Thank you both for being here,
Yo,
man. Thank you for that $10 super chat.
happy
Says,
Sunday, love.
I hope Xbox is doing multi for consoles, thinking it'll strengthen their game portfolio so that games, even though multi, will spark console and Game Pass sales to people who won't wait on other consoles. I mean, this is the thing that people try to downplay this idea, right? And listen, I feel like console is just one part of where you would get that, right? So you got like diehard console people who don't want to touch cloud or PC or mobile versions of, you know, access. Then yeah, you know, if Indiana Jones comes out now and they have to wait 6 months, it's like, can you wait the 6 months? Are you going to want to wait the 6 months when you can just kind of hop in and, you know, take advantage and play the game now,
Yeah.
right? So, like, yes, it will have a certain amount of people who, you know, you got to imagine, like, there's probably a lot of Indiana Jones fans who are like, oh my God, that game came out. Oh my God, that game is good. I want to experience that game. I'm going to go get a console. Or I'm gonna go play it on PC, or I'm gonna go stream it on my Amazon Fire Stick, or whatever. I'm gonna get Game Pass for a month, whatever they're gonna do, right? So it is going to spark that, right? But I think um I think people want to run with this again as if this crap is like new news, right? Like again, Jez said nothing new. He said nothing new. It's been said. Phil Spencer, no red lines. Matt Booty came out, clarified. It's on a case by case basis, and different studios are in different situations. The different situation is if a studio doesn't make PlayStation games, then they're not going to force them to make PlayStation games, right? And have them learn a whole new subset and have to do extra stuff. It's just not what they're going to do, right? So you're gonna have people who are not gonna deal with that, and then there's other people, right, who've been used to making multi-platform games. It's again, we'll talk about it, but it's like,
Yeah.
come on, man, it's clown stuff. It's clown stuff. Um, but yes,
It's a circus out there.
it is. It is. I do see Ida Crow in the building. What's up, man?
Ada Crow, what's good, baby?
Jonas the dad. What's up, man? Live Supremacy in the building. What's up, homie? One Punch Jedi. What's going on? Coach Hoodie Canuck. What's going on, player? Thank you for being here, man. Appreciate you. Avenged Ninja. What is up, man?
Let's go.
He says the gaming community after the awards is wild. I feel like the game, first of all, I feel like the gaming community, quote unquote gaming community, it's more like the Twitter gaming community, right? Like it's the Twitter people that are doing this
It tends
because
to be
it's
very
engagement.
toxic, and they love blowing things out of proportion and coming to assumptions and trying to rile people up, and I think because it's all you see. And you're right. You go into it, you go in there and it's like, What is happening?" It's nonstop. Like like it's the only thing to like focus on. It's awkward.
Agreed. Agreed. It's actually one of the reasons why um I I really appreciate YouTube over Twitter, because I feel like as much as there's a bunch of crazy crap on YouTube, right? Like you don't necessarily like get bombarded with it unless
Yes.
you look for it. Like I don't see any of these like Galloper videos, right? Dreamcast guy or any of these people. They don't show up on my feed. I don't follow it. I don't have any interest of it. So it never shows up. So I never have to see anything I don't want to see. Where I feel like Twitter, regardless of what you do, unless you're
Yeah.
literally like blocking everybody and blocking every word and all this other stuff, it's pushing it on you because it knows there's the controversy. So they want you
They
to
want you to jump
engage
in
with it,
there and be a part of it and continue to,
like
circulate.
propagate the bullshit. And
Yes.
it's it's so much that it's like it's just ridiculous, right? And everybody knows what they're doing. And again, I'm not going to knock their hustle, right? Twitter allows you to make money if you have a big enough following, right? It's just what it is. So what better way to get recognition? And as much as people might downplay how much money they're getting, they don't ca it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Every dollar they get, they're happy that they're getting from Twitter, right? Because everybody else is talking all this shit for free, right? So if they're getting something, that's what they wanna do. So they write these things to get the actual engagement, right? Like, that's what they want, right? And it is what it is, right? It's up to you to kind of fall
Yeah,
for it or deal with
after
it.
a while when you're on to what's happening, like if you're being a part of their methods, right? Then that's on you. Like if you're being a part of what they're luring you to do. Um but it's yeah, it's pretty obvious that they just want the attention and the engagement, and if you know, they want you to go in there and either argue it or whatever it is that's gonna make you click and comment and retweet.
Yeah, I think the actual gaming community can really give two shits. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the actual gaming community is just pumped with everything they saw that's coming. They're pumped with their 2025. especially on the Xbox side, right? So like at the end of the day, it's just noise that these people have nonstop. It's ridiculous. Um, Voting Revenge has a good point. How does Indiana Jones look like a way more graphically demanding game than Black Myth Wukong, but they can't drop an Xbox version of Wukong? I'm not supporting that game. Game science are not good devs. Yeah, and to be clear, like the choice of, you know, what they said as the selection does not put them in our good graces with
It
their
does
game.
not. I have my
It's
issues,
not
and I stand by what I said when it comes to that game. I think it was BS what they pulled, the fact that they won't even be transparent about the fact that, we took the help, we took the money, we took the bag, and that's why, the Xbox community has to wait. Like, at least own it. But acting as if, we're still trying to figure it out, like, come on, man. Maybe that may have worked, but even with BG3, I knew they were full of freaking crap. Magically, they were enlightened. We're not in a situation with the amount of games that are being fed to us, especially through Game Pass, to go ahead and be like, "Oh, finally, you've graced us with your presence. You didn't want to be here to begin with. You're not getting my money. Go make a deal with Phil and throw it in Game Pass, and then we'll see what happens. But in any other way, you're not getting my cash."
facts. 100%, 100%. Gun Griffin says the TGAs were supposed to be about recognizing excellence and achievements. Instead, it's a loss. It's a lot of PlayStation glazing BS. It is. It is. And it's funny because I saw a thing. I think I have it somewhere, and PlayStation doesn't actually win that much. You know what I'm saying? Like over the course of the last 10 years, I think they won 4. Not that it's, 40% over the last 10
Eh,
years is not
I
bad,
mean,
but
4 more than they should have, but yeah,
facts. I mean, it's just that they get nominated a lot. Like
they
everything they
do.
make
They
ends up
do. Their
getting
games are
nominated.
everywhere, which is how they get the attention, right? Um,
Exactly.
so
So it's like that's what they do. Like as much as they are being glazed nonstop. It's just funny because they get nominated a lot, but they lose more than they win, right? So this is just it's just what they are, man. It's just oh my god. Steve Machida says best ongoing game is Concord for me. It continues to provide us with endless laughs and enjoyment. It should have been
yo,
yo,
seriously though,
it should have got the nod.
seriously,
It should have got the nod for sure. It should have got the nod. Absolutely, yo. Absolutely. That's hilarious.
biggest flop.
Belzaire in the building, man. What's up, homie? Thank you for being here, bro.
The
Uh,
crazy thing is that we would have seen that game somewhere in there had if it were still going, like, if it were still alive, right? Even if it didn't sell or the criticism around it, they would have still found a way to bring it in. It's a PlayStation game. And that's why, like, this is the thing, and that's why I can't seriously sit there and say, "Oh my gosh, this is so important. Xbox, please rush your games. Let's see if you get nominated. Let's see if you win." Just like you said it before, the guy was so uncomfortable. He was kind of like lingering around when he was going to go ahead and announce the game of the year. It was uncomfortable for everyone in that room, it seems like, right? So it's messy. It's messy for sure. It's not a prestige. Yes, please let me see how I can be a part of this greatness, right? This is going to be a big deal for me. It's not. It's not. We see what they are. And I mean,
Facts.
it's gotten to the point where like these developers win, and this also it's a big part of it. Like they don't even go on stage to take their freaking award. They know that is bull crap, right? They're there to run the ads and obviously they get paid a lot of money to have these games up on stage. And it's like the award itself, it's bullcrap, and we've known this.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a way for you to put it on your box, right? When you're selling your game, hey, we won game of the year, or hey, we were nominated for game of the year, right? It's a marketing situation, right? It's not a big prestigious thing. Obviously, for if you are the developer who gets nominated, obviously you're gonna be like, oh, that's good, right?
Oh, this is real.
Yeah, yeah, this is last year it wasn't real. This year it's real.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
no,
They
but I
were
mean,
so
honestly,
emotional, with the Astro Bot team, and it's like, it has to you gotta get to it has to be uncomfortable. You have to know what you put out there, and you see the amazing games that were released this year, and you yourself have to kind of yes, you got the win, you got the trophy, but it's like, did you though? Like, realistically, that has to sink in.
yeah.
It just does.
I mean, like I said, we talked about it last time, but honestly, this year, 2025 is going to be the year where we're gonna see what's what, right? So come the end of the year, you're either gonna see Xbox with at least half the noms because obviously there's going to be third party games releasing and you have to save a slot for Ghost of Yote regardless of what shape that game is in. If it even releases next year, you have to leave a slot for that because they're going to give it plus two other multi-platform games as far as like third party games are concerned. And then with the amount of games that Xbox is dropping next year, the high caliber, high hype level games, like games that are not going to miss, like a Doom, right? Like that's come on, let's stop, right? That's I think it won one of the years. But the point is that you're gonna see, you know, at least 8 games released from Xbox next year. Are you gonna see at least 3 of them in game of the year? Because at least 3 of them are big, and I mean, dude, Avowed. If we're just talking big games, if I leave South of Midnight out with the idea that maybe it's a smaller title, right? Avowed, Outer Worlds 2, Doom, Fable, and Black Ops, or I'm sorry, Call of Duty, right? Those are 5 huge games. Realistically speaking, if they are legit doing their thing, you should at least 2. Let me not say 3, right? Let's say at least 2 of those games should be in the running. The other thing we're gonna see is the reviews, right? So this year we talked about how IGN had actually gone ahead and not shit on all of Xbox games.
Yeah,
Actually,
they're just
basically
using a
between
different account to go ahead and get
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
done,
They use
but,
their other
them themselves are trying to clear out the name
yeah,
when it
yeah.
comes
So
to this mess.
they themselves have, between a 8 and a 9, right, score for pretty much everything released by Xbox this year. That being said, the game of the year worthy, kind of contenders because they're not going to put, no matter how good it is, an Age of Mythology or Aura History Untold or any of that type of stuff in there. Shit, Stalker 2 didn't even make it, right? That's not an Xbox game, but still. Your Hellblade, your Indiana Jones, that wasn't going to make the cut. They figured Hellblade 2 was probably niche, right? So it probably wouldn't make the cut. So, like, I
Very
feel like
calculated.
as crazy as this stuff is that you may think that we're digging here, but you start adding things together. You think about the year before when they had a legit, Starfield 100% would have been game of the year if it wasn't an Xbox game. Just what it is. Last year, Starfield was the game. So they made sure they took that down, right? They made sure they took it down and like no problem, they don't have to worry about it. But this year, they they gave decent scores,
They
but
have more freedom.
they didn't seriously believe that any of these games would be game of the year, right? Next year, we're back to having definitive game of the year contenders, right? So and obviously Indiana Jones would have been a game of year contender, but obviously they missed the cutoff, so they didn't care, right? And Avowed got pushed back, right? So next year, for sure, definitively game of the year contenders for sure being released by Xbox. How are they going to receive it? Are they going to give it a fair shot and continue their review process of actually calling a good game? Or are we going to see them go back to Starfield times where they're going to try to, be overly
Cautious. Yes.
critical and bring down scores for BS reasons to make sure that we don't get it to, a level where it can
It makes
realistically
sense
be
for it to be
considered.
nominated, yeah.
Exactly. So that's gonna be the telling point for next year, right? For 2025. We get to the end, we start seeing those reviews come in, and all of a sudden they start dropping. They're not that good anymore. And then at the end of the year, nothing's nominated. Well,
I
that'll
mean,
be
I don't
all
know
you
if
need
it
to
was
know.
you who brought it up, but, like, even with Indiana Jones, right, is also very questionable because obviously we know it's a freaking amazing game, and, like, it makes you question, are they just glazing the fact that it's going to PlayStation and it's in such a small amount of time that they need to kind of keep the same energy and the same treatment that they're gonna go ahead and give it later on? I mean, that's the fact that we have to question these things shows what an issue, these things are.
Agreed. 100%. 100%. Dr. Scotty in the building. What's up,
Doctor
man?
in the house. Let's
Thank you for being here,
go.
bro. Duke Togo
Oh,
13.
what's
What's
up,
up,
baby?
man? What's up, player? Thank you for being here, bro. Punk Orella. What is up, man?
I like that
He
name.
says Sony is paying for all game sales losses being exclusive with cheap tricks and sake to Eastern developers. That's wild. That's wild. You ain't lying though. Mr. Money in the building. What's up, man? Thank you for being here.
Yo,
Eastside Vandal.
let's
What's
go.
going on,
What's
man?
up?
How you doing, bro? Wait, there's more? Like you can't even keep up with this shit. So Gun Griffin says, Doodle, IGN is doing this anti-woke garbage right now, attacking the Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohim? I don't know, for having the main character be a woman. IGN is doing that?
That's
I thought
wild.
these media outlets are mostly like mostly anti-woke, right? Isn't that like they're aren't isn't that what these media outlets do? They're all more maybe I'm mistaken. Who knows? That's wild.
That's
I didn't
wild.
know there was another one. It's like another one gets dropped all the time, man. It's crazy. The homie Mash says, I never
Or
mind
maybe they're
PlayStation.
doing that to take the attention away from what's happening
The
to
PlayStation
the
trying
PlayStation
to
game,
divert
right?
it.
It's being
That would actually be a hundred
slander,
percent.
right? Like, they
Yes.
literally have a lot going on. Very aggressive, had to turn off the comments, because of the negative reaction that people were having to it and how verbal they're being about it. So maybe they're just trying to take away the attention from what is it, Intergalactic? What is it? What's the name again?
The PlayStation game,
Yes.
Intergalactic, the
Yes.
Heretic
So
Prophet.
maybe that's what they're trying to kind of shift
I mean,
the
it
energy to.
I see that.
So,
I see that 100%. Actually, like if they're doing that, then I feel like then that would be the 100% reason that if
yeah.
that's why they would do it is to take the focus away. Matt says, I
How
never
much?
mind PlayStation games getting flowers, but I do think there needs to be less media bias. Like Indiana Jones clearly should be in the next Game Awards, and if I don't see it, I don't know what to say. So that's a great point, Mash. Like, listen, if the game is good, then it deserves it, right? Fine, put it out there. Um, I don't think I personally don't think that like we know there's always going to be a PlayStation game in there, right? Astro Bot was the only game with the score worthy to be considered, right? But like with the level of games, and again, we're about to get into it, but like with the level of games that are out there with just like the breadth of these games and how big they are and how much energy you can physically see on the screen, right? Where like visual is when you're talking about visuals, when you're talking about story, when you're talking about all these things, it just it just blows my mind that that's the way it went. I see Niturnal in the building. What's up,
Colonel,
man?
what's good, baby?
Thank you
Thank
for
you for
being here,
being
bro.
here.
Appreciate you, fam. Bounty in the building. What's
Yo,
going on, man? Appreciate you, homie. The Beer Baron, what's going on, man? Thank you for being here, bro. Appreciate you. Uh, Why so serious? What's up, man? Soul Khan, what's up, player? Jeffrey Garcia.
Jeffrey, what's good, baby? Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here, man. Appreciate you. Um, so let's go ahead and get hold on. Whoa. How did I not see these? Yo, the homie, Ultraman.
Oh, Ultraman, what's good,
Dude,
baby?
I am sorry, I did not
Sorry
see
about
that,
that.
bro. Holy shit. Ultraman, thank you both for being here, man. Thank you for that $2 super chat. Says you're right. Some people go crazy. See money, they do. They do. It's like they just lose their minds over this stuff. And it's I don't know, it's off-putting. You know what I'm saying? It almost like it makes me get more and more annoyed to deal like there's difference when we're like making fun of shit, right?
Yes.
Like pony behavior or galloper behavior, and like we're making fun of the awards because of how dumb it is and how stupid it is. But like when you start bringing like real life drama that exists, stuff that it's just like started as one thing, became another thing. Now it's like just all over. It's like, where's the safe spot, right? Where's a safe place? Like, what's the hobby you can do where you don't have to deal with this stuff, right?
Right? Like, it's supposed to be a fun, relaxing, like, thing to do, and it's become so dramatic. It's become so dramatic from every aspect. The crying, the games, where they're gonna go, what's gonna happen 5 years from now? What did Mad Booty say? Did you read between the lines? Is that game gonna go? Well, he said it wasn't, so it better not like how about you calm the F down? And like all this drama, all this crying, like chill. What's happening that you have the energy to come out here and have such a big meltdown? And I don't know if it's social media just in general, but even then, yes, social media is available. But for you to yourself to say, you know what's cool? I'm gonna go ahead and start crying online to a bunch of people just for the sake of it about a game possibly maybe being on another platform someday. Like that's just crazy to me. So Ultraman, yeah, I get it 100%. It's gotten to the point where it was like, go ahead, speak your mind, say what you have to say to like reel it the heck in, and maybe like a therapist will help. I don't know.
Facts.
Your
Facts.
mom and dad? Somebody.
I don't know. Maybe you should run your thoughts to somebody else before you put them on Twitter. I don't know. Get a filter. You know what I'm saying? Get a
Yes.
real life filter to somebody you hit up like, yo, should I be talking about this? So they can say, bro, keep that shit to yourself. Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Like that. It's just the
Or
way.
like write your thoughts and then give it like a couple hours and delete them. Like get it out. But like, man, this loss of self-control? Come on,
Agreed.
relax.
The homie Ultraman's back with
Oh
another $2 super
man,
chat, man.
thank you,
Appreciate you,
love.
homie.
Back to back.
Says Geoff Keighley has matching PlayStation nipple rings.
I see
Yo,
it. I can
oh
see
my
it.
god. That's wild. That's wild. Listen, that's a lot. That's a lot. That would be next level, man.
I can
That
see
would be
it though.
next
Can't
level.
you?
I mean, I could definitely see it with a chain. I feel like he has
Yeah,
a chain
like attack
connected.
just to make sure that they don't, go all over the place. Like he wants to make sure it's all focused, you know?
Focus. Yeah, for sure. Oh my god. Oh god. Yeah, no, it's
Oh my god.
what
And
happened?
then wrapped around,
Oh, like that. So there and then
like
connected
all
down.
connected.
Oh wow.
Keep it focused.
Wow.
Like, girl, you know what I'm about.
It's true. It's true. I can see it now. I don't want to see I cannot visualize it, but I can imagine that that would be a likely scenario. Uh Dark Angelic says, "Only reason I saw the TGA was the on point live stream." Thank you,
Oh, thank
fam.
you, love.
Other than that, I would have ignored it as always, as we knew the fix was in. Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, we knew. I was really kind of focused on the idea of can't happen. I really didn't like. I think I give these people too much credit, like just the industry in general, like to like okay, it was a fun joke. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's a fun joke. Put this game up there, you know, but to actually go ahead all the way through and give it to them is crazy. It's crazy. Mr. Money says they like clipping your videos. That's crazy. They do. They do. It's what they do. They're obsessed.
Wait, I
Uh,
saw something.
did you?
Yeah, but I saw it somewhere else and I can't find it.
Duke Toggle says it's a negative feedback loop. If you can keep people angry and make them feel like their emotions are valid, they'll keep coming back. Facts. Facts. I get that 100%. Gen X Gamer, what's up, man? Thank you for being here. Anthony Sanchez, what's up, man?
Anthony!
Thank you for being here, bro. Mr. Kima in the building. What's up, player? Thank you for being here. All right. Mr. Kima says Sony paid for the Game Award show. I think they did. I think they did.
You would think they'd be running out of money by now, trying to freaking hold on to their panties, but apparently.
Facts. Pyro Man, what's up, man? Thank you for
The
being here, bro.
crazy thing is, okay, so the score didn't help the sales for or if it did, I mean, can you imagine without, right, for Astro Bot? And then the glazing, same thing. Like, do they really think that this game of the year, even if it boosts up the sales just a bit, is it really gonna be significant? I mean, for what went into the game, I guess, that's an easy grab, but, like, it's not going to be significant enough. What is, though, is the way that the show looks by going ahead and having that game be game of the year. Like,
Yeah,
it did more damage than good.
agreed. Agreed.
And I love that. I have to say, I can't wait to get into it because I do love that the fact that they're being verbal about it, right? This is a
Yeah, we're about to hop
situation
in.
where, like, you know, imagine spending ridiculous money and saying, "You know what? Maybe it's because we don't have enough games. We're not making enough games. We're not investing enough in the games. So let's go ahead and really focus on that because that's what it's about, right? Obviously, it's about the games. Once we start just putting out a lot of games that look amazing, you'll be recognized for it and still not being recognized for it. It just you have to feel a certain way about it. So,
Yeah, we're definitely gonna hop into it very shortly. But you're 100% right. It just it can it can make you feel like what's the point
exactly.
in that sense, but all it's gonna do is continuously make the developers not care about the game awards for the awards. Obviously, again, if you win, you're gonna promote that, right? Because it's marketing. But
Yeah,
if you lose or weren't nominated, it's like they don't matter anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like imagine Ninja Theory looking at the game awards saying we got 4 noms where on the BAFTA they got 11. You know what I'm saying? Like come on, man. It's crazy that that's the case. It's like why would it be a something that the game awards is supposed to be like the gamers game award, right? The other stuff is the industry, but like the gamers game award, you take it away from them. You don't put it in the places that I mean, obviously it's in a few places and it won a couple. Shout out to Ninja Theory for winning. Shout out for Melina for killing it in her performance and winning that
and
as
she
well.
did. That was
She did.
obviously very, very well deserved, right? That was obvious. But what obviously when people are watching a show, what the big talk is best game, best game of the year, but best game in certain categories. That's where you kind of really get the attention, and I think that's where the ball was dropped.
Agreed.
Best family game. Oh my gosh, Astro Bot. Like it's just even Nintendo got it this year. They got
Nintendo
slapped
had
out this
3
year
games
too.
in the
3
family.
games, and
3
out of those
games.
3 games, Astro Bot
The
won.
Switch is the family console.
Exactly, like, what?
But no. Astro Bot got it. All those 45-year-old men playing Astro Bot in their underwear by themselves in their rooms.
Eating Cheetos.
Family. But hold on. Single player game, best family game.
Of course. I mean, that's the only
Family, let me ask you a question. If you're alone in your house and you're just alone, there's nobody else there, and you play that game alone only, how, just by pure definition, could that be considered
I called it
for a
out right away.
family game?
Yes, exactly. Like, what are we talking about here?
It cracked out.
It is.
Oh my god. Primo Jake, what's up, man? Jesse B in the building. What's up, man?
Yo,
Gaming at 85 says, for me,
let's
Space Marines
go.
2 was my Gotti. I still got to get to that game, man. So many games, so little time, but definitely I would much rather have had that in there. Bell's there in the building. Abdel 114. What's up, man? Thank you for being here, brother. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and hop into this topic. I see everybody. Thank y'all for being here. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you,
Sin, what's up, fam?
guys.
Big Man Mo, what's going on, homie? Okay. All right. If I missed you, I apologize. Back from the dead. What's up, man? Okay. Where's my book? Right here in front of me. We're literally right in like
You looked everywhere else.
100% right in front of me. 100% right in front of me. All right. Take my chapter. Let's get the show started.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So I'm gonna you know what? Maybe I should have had the thing. Probably. Let me go here. Let me just grab this so it is ready to go. Come on. Is it? All right, here we go. This is here. All right. So let me just make sure I have the right time. Here we go. Okay. So, as the title suggests, okay, Game Science CEO questions the Game Awards Game of the Year selection criteria. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to share the screen because we need to see this tweet. Let me put it here, bring it up. So, MP first says Black Myth Wukong developer, Game Science CEO says he wrote the acceptance speech for Game of the Year 2 years ago, questioned selection criteria of the Game Awards in a rant. So when you go into this article, it's basically something that he did on it's a Chinese social media platform called Weibo or Weibo. I'm going to share that too so that you guys can see it. We're going to translate it. All right. So we'll share this tab. So this is Weibo. Okay. So this is Yokar Feng Ji. He is the CEO and he wrote a pretty lengthy statement. And it has like other things that are in here that are fine. Like he's talking about his things that he wants to talk about, which is fine. But the stuff that we're gonna hone in on is over here, right? So it's kind of his first point. So we'll start from the top. He says it's been a day since the TGA Awards, and Staggered Pete came out to say a few words from the heart thinking that maybe it would be useful to some friends. After all, I didn't have the opportunity to go on stage yesterday to say one. Okay, so this is like his speech. So he says this award ceremony I'm sorry, this is not his speech. He didn't get a chance to go on stage to give a speech. He says this award ceremony coincided with the release of a fairly big update. For me personally, the 7-year project is now officially over. Black Myth Wukong's 4 award nominations: Best Action Game, Best Art Direction, Best Game Director, and Game of the Year are all first for China. In the end, it won the best action game and the voice of the player. Um, the f so oh, okay, because it's not you don't get nominated for voice of the player, I guess, theoretically, that's just the voice of the player. So, it got nominated for 4, it only won 1, and then it got voice of the player. And he says, "Especially the voice of the player, which is gratifying," right? But it must be admitted that there are losses, regrets, and more importantly, letting go of illusions, which is all fine. That's all normal. But this is the line that is the big one. He says, "This year finalists are all excellent, but I really don't understand what the selection criteria are for this game of the year." And then he says, "I'm here for nothing."
Oh,
So, okay, then he mentions how people were, how he saw like players were pissed that they didn't win. Which obviously stuff like that. Every game is gonna have its group of people who are gonna be pissed that their game didn't win. And he says that I was even more confident than you that we were gonna win. I wrote my acceptance speech, 2 years ago, right? Which that part is fine. You know what I'm saying? Like again, people are always going to be upset if you lose, right? If you care, right? So for them, they cared and they lost, and that was upsetting to them, right? So, but the big part is the fact that he speaks out on it, right? And like again, he said this year's finalists are excellent, right? Because again, the nomination itself doesn't really matter, right? The fact that you're nominated is great. And the only time it really matters is if you win. You know what I'm saying? It's not like
that's that's what that's what we talked about, and we said it's best that, Hellblade wasn't in there and that, Indiana Jones wasn't a part of the nominations because to have them in that category and get slapped up by Astro Bot, that's just embarrassing, and I can completely understand where, your car's coming from, right? I don't think it's a rant. I think he's kind of just, stating some things that again, like you said, see money, we're all kind of thinking not about this particular game, Black Myth Wukong, but just in general, the industry.
For sure. And I mean, and even if you like, I can so be specifically what he's saying here is I really don't understand what the selection criteria are for this game of the year. So what he's saying is, sure, I see all the nominees, right? But when I see the nominees
It
and
doesn't
then
add
I
up.
see who won, I don't understand what is it that they judge these games on. Because if you're saying that these are the nominees, right? And you're saying, okay, these are all the people that we think are the best ones, right? You would hope that the judges are not just glazing a certain company and that they're looking at it and breaking it down like, okay, if these are the finalists, right? These are the nominees for game of the year. What about each game brought them here? Right? What is it? How were the graphics? How was the
The
gameplay?
story.
How was the challenge? How was the story? How was the acting? How was it fun? What's going like these all should take place, right? All of these
Absolutely.
things should be gauged against each other, right? And be able to have some rational way of concluding how, all
Well,
right,
I can see
these are
how
the
this
games that should
happened.
yeah, like this makes sense, right? Again, literally, if you take away the fact that Hellblade 2 wasn't there, for me, you know, after Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones moved up as my game of the year. But Hellblade 2 was my game of the year. And obviously Indy couldn't be there, right? So Hellblade 2 could have been there, it wasn't. So removing the fact that Hellblade 2 was there, if you look at what's left, right? You look at something like Metaphor that won a lot of other awards. Matter of fact, one of the things that I think and I will have to go back and I don't know how this factually stacks up, but the best game direction and game of the year typically line up pretty good, right? And the best game direction, who won it this year? Did Astro Bot win that as well? Or was it Metaphor?
I don't remember.
Because I feel um I feel like I think it wasn't Astro Bot. I don't remember. I feel because I don't know if it lined up. I feel like
Yeah, if you
Metaphor won.
remember,
Yeah, if you
let us know.
remember, let
I
us
don't,
know.
because I was kind of like keeping track of things, but then it's crazy the way that they just bunch these things up. Like they just, it was like 3, 4 in one shot, and just like da 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 da. These are the nominees, and just like gone in a split.
Oh, so Joshua Bonorino says it was Astrobot.
It was Astrobot.
Okay,
Okay.
so they gave it to him too. So I was right. I mean, it does go hand in hand typically. But again, when you go ahead and look at what was there, Metaphor had way more excitement, right? Again, I won't I will never stop saying this. Astrobot mattered to no one until the reviews came out. That game, nobody had hype for it, nobody was excited for it. No one, no one cared about that game until the reviews came out, saw that it was highly rated, and then all of a sudden, everybody was sweating that game. It was Black Myth Wukong, if you guys remember that the gallopers were championing
Yep.
leading into the game awards. And then they got
That's
their
our game.
then they got that Astrobot Metacritic score, and they said, "Well, wow, I'm so happy. I'm so happy I played this game. It's amazing. It's the best thing ever." It's like, yo, come on, man. No, no, like Madman, we were talking to our son. So Madman was we had a discussion and we were talking about it, and he brought up a very good point because we were talking about how maybe this will start making people, say maybe we don't need to make these types of games that are, pushing boundaries and doing this stuff. And we could just kind of go back to the old school, everything's a platformer, everything's like these simple type games. Why do it if this is what supposedly people are looking for, right? This is
That's what's
supposedly what it is.
frustrating. That's what's
And,
frustrating.
obviously our, Madman, he's a
Shout out to Madman.
teenager. Um, so he has like that, a slightly different perspective. And he said, like, no, bro, like, no, the industry has come too far, right? The industry has come too far. It's actually being respected, right? It's actually being respected out in the world, right? Guess what? When platformers and those types of games ran the circuit, they were not.
Exactly.
Gaming was not respected out to the mass audience. The mass audience wasn't interested in gaming when games like Astrobot ruled the
Exactly.
circuit. Okay. No, Mario's been around forever, right? Doing his thing, and Nintendo was always big, but big compared to what? Right? It wasn't big compared to mobile gaming right now. It wasn't big compared to everything else going on. So he just made a great point, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like the industry is in a different place, right? It
And it
does have a different respect level. And the
exactly.
fact that games that no matter what you feel about it, I don't really care for Final Fantasy. I don't Metaphor, I don't really care for. I don't care for Black Myth Wukong. Like those games are not my games of the year. Like I don't care about those games per se, but I
You can
can look and see
recognize.
exactly.
Yes.
I could recognize that these games are games telling a story, putting,
Effort.
pushing the
Pushing.
effort,
Yes.
pushing the narrative, pushing graphics, pushing, story. I mean, Metaphor is not pushing graphics in that way, but artistically is pushing,
Yes. Yeah.
it's artistic
Artistically.
design,
Yep.
right? It won best art direction, right? So like Like these games are pushing things forward. Astro Bot is a 30th year anniversary celebration of one console, okay, that the vast majority of gamers don't own. Okay, and I'm not talking about I'm talking about gamers, mobile, PC, all put everybody in perspective. PlayStation, like the vast majority of people in the world don't own a PlayStation. And I'm not saying they own an Xbox. I'm just saying that that's just not the reality. So a game that's celebrating PlayStation, that is a blatant ripoff of the Marios. A matter of fact, you can say, oh, look at this Xbox crying, saying it's a ripoff of Mario. Bro, the dude was on stage accepting the award,
Wow, that
and
was
he took moments from his shit to thank freaking Nintendo without literally saying, hey, I can't say the name of the place. You notice that I couldn't say it, but you know who I'm talking about, because PlayStation didn't even want them to come out here and do the comparison. Okay. They didn't want them to come out here and do the comparison. That's the only reason that they wouldn't be allowed to say Nintendo's name. Okay. Because it's PlayStation mandated. So the fact that they came out, spent a significant amount of time thanking Nintendo, saying Nintendo was here before anybody doing this. And then we saw all the videos leading up to this where you could see the blatant copying, right? You could see the blatant copying throughout it, right? We saw all the videos.
Crazy. We were crazy.
We were crazy.
Even he there's came a out. Problem if he sits. It's not if he sits, it's the way that it just goes beat by beat, and it still can't match it. Let's be clear. We're saying how it's a copy of it, but it's not a good enough copy of it. We all know that. And the same thing with all of their games. I mean, for Concord was supposed to be the next Star Wars, according to them. So that was another knockoff. It's just they're not it. They're not.
And just you got to look at it for what it is. That game pushed nothing. That game did not move the needle. That game did nada. Okay, Sir X-Men, I see you, man. Steve-O, what's up, fam?
X-Men was good. This pain in the house.
This pain was good, fam. Thank you for being here, bro. So it's like it pushed nothing, right? Hard game. Well, like, so there's segments that are challenging. Okay, bitch, go back and play fucking Mario the original. Go play the first 3 games back in the day. Dude, play the Super Nintendo version. Bro, I watched some dude play with his Super Nintendo controller like this, with some crazy claw mechanism, playing through this impossible looking map on an impossible looking board, getting all the way to the end, doing the craziest shit I've ever seen in a Mario game, and dying at the last moment, falling. Just literally the flag's right there.
Did. Oh my gosh, it was wild, man.
So
you
I don't want
with your controller, almost yanked it out, and it's
exactly. Like, I don't want to hear that about Astro Bot. I don't care that they made a certain areas that are hard. Who gives a shit, right? Who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to hear that. I don't care about that. They did nothing special. And all they did was cater to a platform that, again, most people don't own. And the people who own that platform don't even care enough to buy the game. They don't. They showed you they don't care about the legacy of PlayStation, and
that's
bro.
The thing. It was glazing. It's about PlayStation. And so how can you not think that it's the PlayStation show, right? It's the PlayStation show. They go ahead, they made all the characters, they put them in there, they have the box in there, they have the controllers. This was about PlayStation, this game, right? So it can't even be on, it's not a game that they can put on other platforms that they're going to be like, yeah, okay, bring it along.
Even they were out there saying, like, we can make one without it. You know what I'm saying? But I tell you right now, you take out all the PlayStation aspect of this. If this was not released by PlayStation, if this was just a third-party game and all those cameos were just robots that they designed to look a certain way and had nothing to do with PlayStation, this game would have maybe, first of all, we don't even know if it would have been reviewed. Depends on the publisher who did it. Okay. If it was like them self-publishing, it probably would never even gotten recognized. But if it got published or if it got recognized and got reviewed, maybe it would have had a good score. It wouldn't have the score it has, I promise you that. But maybe we would have got a decent score, but would it have ever been thought of as a game of the year contender? Never. Never. Just like everything else in the family category wasn't considered for game of the year, because most of the time those are not considered. Put this in the perspective real quick. In 2017, the game that this copied so blatantly, amongst other things, was Mario Odyssey. In 2017, Mario Odyssey release with the release of the Switch. That game won Family Game of the Year. Okay, it did, and it is a single player experience. So it copied the Astro Bot. They did it first, right? They did it first. But when it came time for the Big Boy Award, when it came time for Game of the Year, it did not win. No, as amazing as Mario Odyssey was, and I can tell you, I am not a Mario like dude. I'm not a Nintendo head. I always get this stuff. Obviously, we're gonna play with my kids, we're gonna have a good time, but I'm not that person. And that game, that Mario, I played the hell out of that game. Made it to the darkest, like 3 or 4 moons before my Switch got
Yeah,
bricked
it
and it
crashed
deleted all
and
my
yeah.
stuff. Now, it lost to Breath of the Wild. Okay. Now, Breath of the Wild was a phenomenal game. Don't get me wrong. Okay. But if you're talking about this year versus, 2017, Breath of the Wild was Zelda doing something new and different. And again, that was my first Zelda that I actually beat and really enjoyed. But you compare it to now and you see a similar situation where Zelda was an action adventure game, right? That is, big and open world and, you know, doing a lot of creative stuff for that game. And when they looked across the board, it won over Mario Odyssey. So Mario Odyssey, Michael Yu just put in the chat that it has a 97 Metacritic. Okay. Higher Metacritic than Astro Bot. And it lost. And it lost. And it did, again, you think about Mario Odyssey, it did so much new for the Mario
Oh
franchise,
my gosh, yeah,
right?
it was
So much new.
insane how much went into that game.
I just it's clear that
But
it's
that's to
it's
show you
BS.
even Mario is, like, evolving in such ways, and, I mean so back to your point, your previous point, shout out to Madman, obviously, he brought this up, and it's like, obviously, it you can't help but question, right? Obviously, we know the turbulence and everything that has happened this year for PlayStation. We do know we heard from Hiroki they're going to focus on smaller games, right? Um and they're trying to go ahead and reach that Nintendo audience and they want to put their games everywhere. So when you have the industry, it's come so far and we want them to keep on pushing and continue to deliver these amazing games. And it's like PlayStation is literally holding it back. And they're trying out there to kind of mold it and bring it back in to kind of like have this game, Astro Bot, Game of the Year. You look at this year and you're like, "What? How did this happen?" And it's like they're trying to pull back the industry, to hold it back in a way that it suits PlayStation. And kind of like the route that they're going to, yes, they'll have a big game here and there, but mostly the games that they're going to be able to focus on and be able to put out there a lot easier. It's more
Facts.
affordable for them. So, it's just it's time it's crazy because once we chop off that anchor and we like man, it's amazing to
Look,
watch it bleed
I
out.
I
But
gotta
the
I gotta be
moment
honest with
that we're
you.
not held back by PlayStation, I mean, the industry's just gonna go ahead and skyrocket.
You know, it's funny because I would almost guarantee that they had no idea that that stupid ass game was gonna make game of the year. I don't think PlayStation released that game. Obviously, they paid for it, right? They figure out how to make it happen, but I don't. When they made that game, I don't think they thought that was gonna be the game. They thought they were gonna have Concord.
Well,
They
yes,
thought
I mean,
Concord
it
was
was
gonna be
a
the winner.
okay, well, now this is what we have to go ahead and push, right? It's not something that they obviously they thought Concord was going to come in and take over everything, and people were going to obviously burn their Xboxes and the freaking Switches, and the focus was going to be PlayStation because that would be the only game that everyone will be out there playing. And that didn't pan out as they thought. Nowhere near it. So, with
Facts.
Concord dead, what else do they have to turn to?
Lego the Hole.
I mean, come on, man. That just that just didn't cut it. It just didn't cut it.
Oh my god, that's just wild. We got our homie Smitty Smith in the building. Thank you for being a
What's up,
member for
baby?
12 months, man. That's
Thank
wild. Time
you.
has flown
We
by, man. Thank you
appreciate
so
that,
much, bro.
man, so much. Thank you.
Says, good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
By
love.
quote unquote family game,
Woo!
they mean the gallopers have, quote, their hands moving vigorously with lube and corn hub. The Book of X.
The
The
Book
Book
of
of X,
X, baby.
indeed. The Book of X, indeed. And he's back with another $5 super chat,
Woo!
man. Appreciate you,
Thank
homie.
you, love.
Says, hold up. Game science wants clarity and transparency, but couldn't be honest if Black Myth Wukong is a
Oh,
timed exclusive. The
the
Book of
Book of
X.
X. You get
Facts.
what you get. That's what happens. Listen.
Facts.
Things come
Facts.
right back around. Listen, I'm not with this nonsense that they did. But I'm also, and you're right. Look at them now asking for answers. And they try to play like they didn't freaking take the bag and grab the help and they're acting stupid about the situation.
They probably thought the bag was gonna help them secure.
Absolutely. Being probably also, and let's not just being on PlayStation and PC, staying out of the way, with Xbox would have helped them go ahead. And when they saw the nominees, I think what he's most dumbfounded when they saw the nominees, they certainly didn't think that Astro Bot was a competition. Like they were like,
No.
okay, all right, this is pretty much on the clear.
Nobody did, bro. Nobody did. And this is the thing, like this, like the reason I love that he came out
But
to say
yes,
this
that's what I was
though
gonna get to. I
is
do
that
love that he spoke out.
because he's not in isolation. Everybody felt this way. Everybody who's not a PlayStation glazer felt this way. Everybody was dumbfounded that that little robot won. Even like you go to our boy Philly Phil in the gang, right? 100%.
You got the picture?
Yeah, I do. Right here. Actually, the homie Mr. Kima shared
Shout
it
out to
so I can
Mr.
find it.
Kima.
So thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
So
love.
Mr. Kima says Xbox can make a kick-ass platformer game better than Astrobot, Super Mario, and it would never get a vote for Game of the Year nomination from Geoff Keighley's Sony PlayStation Awards show. Facts. This is the truth. And then
100%.
Xbox Series has Xbox leadership when Astrobot won Game of the Year. Maybe they'll reconsider Banjo Conquer now. No. And
See,
thank you,
you
Mr. And
can't.
thank you, Kima, for bringing that up, right?
Yes.
Because this is that has nothing to do with it. And I hate that we still have people in the Xbox community who are so like sorry, I'm filtering out a lot of words right now. Okay, that are so
That think
blinded
that
by the
we are
idea
going
that
to yeah,
that
that
it's
if
there
we
there's
put
still an
these
even
games
fight.
out,
Like there's no
yep,
even fight happening here. There's no like for like happening here. There's no Banjo could have been Astrobot and it would have
it
not
wasn't
even been
going to
considered.
be. It wasn't going to be. You can make the freaking best freaking banjo game or like it's not going to change anything. It would not have been nominated. And that's why it's so important to me that they went ahead and released Indiana Jones December 9th after the cutoff. For me, it was great. That was a way of saying, listen, we know what it is. And it's true. to go ahead and live in this bubble trying to shape yourself into what you think they want from you instead of doing your own thing as it suits you for yourself and your consumers, for your gamers? I mean, that's the only thing that they should be focused on. This moment was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Yes, they weren't clapping. No one should have entertained this bullshit. Phil, if you zoom into him, he's doing the side eye. He's doing a side eye. And who wouldn't freaking be sitting there doing a side eye, rolling their eyes, wondering what in the hell did we just watch? What just happened? Matt Booty's like, I can't even look at this shit. And Aaron is back there like, oh, no, they freaking didn't.
Facts.
And that's just the reality. So they're not the only ones confused. They're not the only ones annoyed, but they've been going through it for mad freaking long. And no one cares about it. No one has shit to say about it. That's acceptable. That's okay for them to release a game like Hellblade 2 and for Astro Bot to win Game of the Year. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. So what can they do? What is it that they're going to go ahead and do to go and be recognized, for their developers to be recognized? And then you want to put out there that, you know, if they go ahead and fit into this new mold, no, that's given exactly into what they want Xbox to do. They want them to go ahead and follow suit with whatever the hell PlayStation is doing. And that doesn't suit us as gamers, and it doesn't suit Xbox. They need to continue to do what the hell they're doing and F the freaking award show. It is what it is. The moment the award show wants to get on board with Xbox, then they can jump on. Let's go. Let's ride. Until then, get out of my face. I'm going to release my games when they're ready to come out and when it suits Game Pass.
Facts.
It's ridiculous that this
It
is
is
the energy that they want to put out here. Xbox always has to bend. And if it were anyone, if it were Phil that came out here and said, I don't understand these nominations and the winner, whatever any blip from him would have been taken out of context and it would have been an issue. Yes, no one has said anything, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't. All this nonsense that people want to speak up about the shit that matters. That really matters. They're going to make change. Because I remember when Concord wasn't selling, that was on us. It was our responsibility to carry Concord on our back, whether it was a good game or not, right? So that to support the developers and to make sure that they continue to be creative. No, we shouldn't be supporting things that we are not with. If the game is not good enough to be supported, then people shouldn't spend their money on it. Their hard-earned money so that they can go ahead and goof around and release another freaking game that is trash. These things need to be questioned. These things need to be brought up. And I'm glad I'm not with what they did when it comes to the game, putting it on freaking PlayStation and not freaking being transparent about the fact that they took the bag. But I'm glad that they went ahead and brought this up. And more people should be doing the same shit.
Facts.
Crazy.
Facts. And I mean, and that's literally what Phil and Aaron and Matt Booty, what you're seeing here. Right? This is what this is. This is them saying, like, you know, like Phil, Aaron Greenberg, if any of the other games would have won, they wouldn't have been looking like this. They wouldn't care. They would clap and call it a day. But the fact that they made the Game Awards such a mockery by letting that robot win. They couldn't even hide it, dude. They couldn't even hide it. Phil is so disenchanted with the entire idea that he said, you know what? Like, what are you like? What? And then look, Matt is looking away.
Yeah.
Matt's like, I can't even watch this pathetic
it's a
shit.
Joke.
And literally, Aaron Greenberg's like, what the like, what? Like, what? That's what this is? That's what this has become? This is what we're doing here? Come on, man. Come on. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, right? It's embarrassing. These people are like, out of anybody, this dude goes and he congratulates other studios for making, for
Yes.
succeeding and doing all this shit. And he literally, like, look at that group, man. Look at that group. They're just like, what a waste
It's
of
enamored with what
life.
is taking place. Phil's a gamer. He supports the devs, he supports the games, he appreciates what they are, and that's why he continues to work so freaking hard to have a subscription service like Game Pass and to continue to deliver great games. That suits every gamer. That's why they're making so many different types of games. So it's inclusive for everyone on their platform. Not just what they think is gonna bring in the cash, or go ahead and make me something like Fortnite and see if we can rip that off. What else is popping that we can just hang on to, and that'll be the only thing we make? Because the other players don't matter. Just the ones that are just bringing in the money. Quick grab. Give me that money. Give me that bag. That's not what it's about.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Every player matters.
agreed. Agreed. And I see a lot of people in the chat talking about Xbox shouldn't support them, right? But this is where, you know, emotionally, yes. I mean, it's clear they're not, right? Like, they're not doing some big support. Like, they've done it in the past where they had like multiple stuff. They didn't have really shit. They had one game that they put out there, and it's a game that's going
One game they
everywhere.
did the commercial,
Well, yeah,
but yes,
but what is the commercial? They're all ads, right?
yes,
So this is the
exactly.
thing. The one thing you can't be in business is spiteful for yourself, right? Jeff is not a competitor to Xbox, right? Like, Jeff doesn't compete with Xbox. The award show, it is whether Xbox supports it or not, the awards are still going to happen, right? So it doesn't matter. What Xbox wants to do is take advantage of
Exactly.
the viewership, right? So as much of an idea as it would be to, like, for them to remove themselves, all they're doing is giving that ad space to somebody else. And at the end of the day, they're gonna have, there was like 10 million views on this, like, on the show. You know what I'm saying? And that's 10 million people seeing this is an Xbox ad. You're watching this on an Xbox. You know what I'm saying? Like, the fact that that's out there is huge for a lot of people who don't know that, right? For the everyman who's not following social media. And then, the game Outer Worlds, right? It's a huge game coming next year. It's coming on everything. People, they want people to see that shit, and it's going to be, you know, way more viewed on this than it is going to be on Xbox's YouTube channel. That's just the reality. Xbox doesn't even have 10 million subscribers on their YouTube channel. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, at the end of the day, again, like, us here who follow the industry tighter than your everyday gamer, right? We know the difference. We know why this shit happens. We understand it. So, like, as much as an idea as it would be for them not to support them, is not gonna hurt Jeff, because they barely did anything anyway. They barely did anything. They showed one game. You remove that one game from the list, and the show doesn't change.
It was
For most people, it doesn't change. For us, it changed because that was a huge point for us to
yes.
see Outer Worlds 2. But it doesn't change. It just makes them less relevant to the conversation to people who don't follow the industry. If you don't follow the industry and you see that Xbox ad, that's something that you would not have seen elsewhere. Or you see Outer Worlds 2, same thing, right? So that's just that's just part of the business, and they're not going to, you know, stop doing that. And the other award shows, as I see people saying, doing the other award show, those award shows don't do game ads, right? Like, those award shows don't do the trailers and stuff. If they did, we would be watching those too, right? But there's a reason why those don't get watched the same way the Game Awards does, and there's a reason why those actually promote all of their awards versus Game Awards, which only focuses on the big ones, and everything else is just a list read off like, hey, yeah, you won, done, boom, next one, right? Like, there's a reason. We're there for the ads. We're there for the world premieres. We're there for the new announcements, right? That's what we're there for. And as much as he is like his show is a pony ass show when it comes to the awards, right? It's the exact opposite when it comes to the games being shown. Very rarely, like they only had one game there too, right? PlayStation had Intergalactic, right? So Xbox gave one, PlayStation gave one. Everything else was just all third party games that are going wherever they go, right? So, like again, I get it, but what happened? What were we gonna say,
So
baby?
I hear that comment. I don't know who brought it up,
There's a
but
lot of people who brought
okay,
a lot
so
of people.
I feel like we are seeing that. The fact that they didn't show up the way that they did the year before shows a lot and it's very telling. I think that they're using it as they want and
As
as
a
a
tool
tool,
for them.
yes, and I think it's always been, but there's been a lot of support and I think they're gaining their power with the shows that they have. And I think like the we talked a lot about the January direct, right? And that's going to be their focus. And I think that it's just something that's just going to keep on growing and they're going to just keep on pulling away. I think that it's just they're doing it gradually. I think this is just kind of like how when they went and bought Bethesda, then they went and bought ABK. Like these are gradual moves and then everyone's like, "Where are the games? Why you buy the studios for?" It's like, now the games are coming out. You will see their power and you will feel it as eventually. And I think that they're making the moves for it. Just like they've weakened the media with their narrative out there and the nonsense that they love to do to create some type of wave in the Xbox community and kind of go ahead and make it seem like Xbox is dead and going third party and all the bullshit that they go out there and do. Um, I think that they're also gonna go ahead and make the changes when it comes to this show. And
I mean,
just
there's not much left that they could. They showed one game.
but
You know what I'm saying? So there's like nothing really lower for them to do.
I
They
think
used it as
that
an ass.
it's a gradual thing. I think we're gonna go ahead and maybe we'll see because their shows were insane this past year. The shows that we
Yeah.
saw, like I think that it loses power. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I think that we are already seeing that happen. Again, I know like the part of us is like, oh, they shouldn't do anything, but it's like it's also business, right? They need to go ahead and get the most exposure because again, all those gallopers needed to see Outer Worlds 2 is coming so that they could go ahead and get pumped, right? They could spend the $70 each time so that they could continue to fund our games, right? And that's just what it is. But before we keep going, let me get my boy Raiden Blade in the building with that $5 super chat, man, or
What's good,
£5 super chat.
baby?
Thank you, but it
Thank
says, "This
you.
is why I have said this for years now, and I'm standing on my square. Give Geoff Keighley nothing. They got lucky, one ad and one reveal." Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think we're seeing that, man. I think we're
Yeah,
seeing
I
very
agree.
little extra engagement on there, right?
And
So
listen,
for
I
sure.
mean, I think that this speaks to how they're even feel. I can't imagine how they feel now after seeing the mess that played out. You can see it all over their faces. I think there were plenty of conversations had behind the scenes. They may not be out here like the developer from Wukong, but they I'm sure they obviously they feel a certain way. They see exactly what we see and they feel what we feel. Um a lot more amplified and they're going to have conversations and there's going to be consequences that we're going to obviously in a very very delicate way see play out based on what took place at the award show. There are. That's just undeniable. There are gonna be, certain moves made,
You
certain
also got to remember
changes
there's
made.
other shows that Geoff Keighley does, right? So it doesn't only have to be the awards show that
Exactly. You
suffers.
get him where you get him. You get him where you can.
Yeah. Rating Blade is back with another £2 super chat, man. Appreciate it. It says, I said my part, create a new award system show. I mean, it's hard. Like Xbox themselves can't really make an award show, right? Because that would just be mocked. The same way we mocked PlayStation for giving Spider-Man game of the fucking year. Like,
That's what's tricky, and
us-
that's why it also, like, if we are and again, this opened the conversation. I love the fact that this was brought up by one of those developers, because the reality is that if it's said by us, we're just upset,
yep.
and we're just hating on the fact that Astronaut, I can't even say this with a straight face, that Astronaut is just so freaking amazing, right? And God's gift to the world. And the same thing would happen if it comes out from Phil or the team, right? It's going to be looked at the same exact way. So I'm so glad that the conversation came up from different avenue.
Agreed. Agreed. And our boy Demo Flow Gaming,
Oh,
my
what's
dude,
up,
thank you both for
baby?
being here, man. Thanks for the
Thank
$2 super
you.
chat. Says Lego Horizon, the Xbox rumor, guys. Did you hear? Yes, yeah, we're gonna talk about it
We're gonna
a
get
little
into it.
later.
Demo, thank you. Shout out
But
to
I
Baby
appreciate you, brother.
Demo Flow, who was not happy. He was very verbal about how he felt about Astrobot
Yes.
during the award show.
I
He was not
literally
having it.
heard him say fuck Astrobot. I
I
was
think
like,
so.
damn, those are some powerful, strong first words, little baby Demo. But listen, he speaks the truth. You can't knock him. You know what I'm saying? That's the
Babies don't
reality.
lie.
They don't lie. They don't lie. The homie Gotham guy in the building, man. Thank
That
you both for being here.
love.
Thank you for that $10 super chat,
Thank
homie.
you.
Says basically, CMoney, you're saying when it comes to watching the Keighley Awards, it's not so much a choice, but it's a lack of options. Hopefully, in the future, someone gives us a better option. Agreed. Agreed. I mean, look,
Either evolve some of the other shows, right? Or yes, bringing other
so
options.
so this is the one thing that is difficult, okay? For these award shows. The one thing that Geoff, as much as he's a pony and all this shit, the one thing he did was, 10 years ago, this is the 10th year anniversary. When he made this show, he invested in it being a live show, like a show that is there, not just some internet show, but a live show. And he invested a lot of money into bringing that like into reality. Obviously, since then, it's a big business for him. This is probably what he lives off of with advertisements and all that stuff. But
It took off. It picked up.
it picked up. He put in the money to make it bigger, right? The thing is that there are, in fact, a lot of award shows, guys. Like let's be clear. Like IGN does one. It's nowhere near this level. They don't get these reveals. They don't get these types of things because at the end of the day, there's only so many big companies out there who are making these games that we're pumped for. And regardless of how you cut it, Geoff Keighley's show has the most viewership at
Well,
the
I
end of the
think that
year.
this is something, obviously so anything that comes in will come in to kind of like compete and try to figure its shape, right? Kind of see if it can become something. So he was the one who made it different. He's the one who started this thing, and so it has what it has because of it. But
He's also not tied to a publication. So
yes,
he's also not tied to an IGN or Joystick or any of these things that are tied to publications, which at the end of the day, you start, you know, looking at things a little funny when, these big companies give a publication this type of access for their award show, not during just regular, like, hey, here's coverage, but it's like him being separate from it.
even though he's
Well, even though he's a pony,
he's
but
a galloper. Yeah, I think
still, like, these third parties are releasing on PlayStation, so they don't care that he's a PlayStation fanboy. Um, so the fact is that at the end of the day, he has the industry contacts, right? That again are not based off of, well, I'm about to review your game and give it a shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, give it a shit score if you don't do this. Like, there's a very separate thing, right? He just benefits from glazing Sony, right? But everything else, they're all using him for the reach that he built. And as much as we can say whatever we want about it, right? The numbers don't lie, right? Like, I'm all for giving him shit, and the award portion of the show is trash. It is.
And that's
But
what
I look
maybe
forward
needs
to
to.
the game portion be of the trailers and shit. I do look forward to it. It is, we have E3, we have our Xbox June showcase, right? And then we have the this is the big winter one before January, for for this year, right? So I do look forward to it, and honestly, people do. People watch the shit. Like, no matter how you cut it.
So this is the thing. I do think that, obviously you would have to want to make the change. And I think um seeing the energy and people being verbal and developers being verbal about how they feel may be a nice step to go ahead and create that change. Um, but I do think that if that some changes should be made with the way that this is all set up, the people that are voting or bringing in these nominations, the way that the format has to go ahead and get reconfigured. Um, but E3 um was there and now it's not, right? And Xbox came in and they had a phenomenal freaking show. I think sometimes it just takes, and that's, I kind of I see both sides. I also agree with the fact that it just takes someone to step in and do the work and show up, writing, kind of making things more fair, and then it can it can make something happen, right? It can some change does not just take place. So unless the changes are being made when it comes to the format of the show and how they go ahead and have these categories, like the nominees and the voting, and if that needs to change, and if it doesn't change, as much as he has created this show, it doesn't mean that someone cannot step in and go ahead
No,
and just take
no.
over, you
No,
know?
but it's gonna take a substantial amount of investment, and
It
that's the
would,
that's the
yes.
question, right? So, because the investment, you gotta realize, if you're doing it at the end of the year, right, and you want to have the same pop, that means you have to have the games. If you wanna have the games, then you have to get them over Jeff, right? So, if your first year, you make this award show, and it's just a bunch of indie games or smaller games, well, that's not gonna steal the thunder. Like, there's no amount of money you can throw at it unless you're paying these big companies to put their game on yours and not on Jeff's. Meaning, instead of Jeff getting money to place these games on his stage, this other company is going to come and pay them to be like, no, 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 we're making it a war show. We'll give you money to put your game on our show. That would be the only scenario, because there's, again, only so many big companies that are out, only so many big companies that are ready to
You
show
heard that, Phil?
something. But you can't make an Xbox one as much as it makes sense. You
You
can't.
can, but
They,
you
they
can
can't do
also
it.
go ahead and support, right? Just saying.
I mean, if that were to come out, that would be crazy, right? If it were ever to get out, the Xbox is paying, like that would they're never gonna do something like that, right? Because they're not gonna allow their name to get muddy because of a fucking Game Award
PlayStation's
show.
nonsense.
Yeah, they're not gonna risk their shit for bullshit that nobody they don't give a shit about any of this, to be fair. Like, Satya could give three shits. He doesn't care if every fucking game that Xbox makes is game of the year.
If
He
it's
doesn't
not
care.
selling, it's not selling.
Exactly. Exactly. So at the end of the day, this is all fluff shit, right? That's why the award portion doesn't matter. But it's going to take more than just a desire to make another war show. Again, they exist already. All these shows, BAFTA, Dice, IGN awards, the joystick awards, like, these awards exist. There's a reason that they're not on the same level. Why? Because it's not about the awards. People don't give a shit about the awards. Same thing with everything else, right? None of these awards matter like that to anybody other than the people who are receiving these possible awards, right? Everything is just oh, okay, wow, that one. What we watch for is for the game announcements, and there's only so many every year up for grab.
I mean, and now to go ahead and see if the Muppets show up and and keep on making
Actually,
fun
that's
of
my
the
that
show
was the
again.
highlight.
It
The
was.
Muppets
It
just
so
need to
was.
keep
They
showing
were
up.
hilarious. I loved it. I love that.
So the homie,
Oh, we
the
both
homie
did.
Rated Blade in the building. Thank you both for being here. Thank you for that
Thank
£2 super chat.
you. Thank
Says
you, love.
CMoney, no voting, no voting be based off of games, playtime, and sold.
Oh, the voting should be based um off of
Off of the
playtime
playtime and
and
sold,
soul copies. Yeah.
like how many people played the game or how long people played it for, and how much is sold. I mean,
How would
I feel like
something
there should be I feel like there should be a threshold, right? Like where it's like a game should at least be like this. I don't know. It's kind of hard. It's kind
it's
of
hard,
hard. It's kind of
especially
hard.
when you think of Game Pass, right? So how do you when it comes to sales?
Yeah, because then Xbox would be slapped up. But that's why he has playtime. But still,
Yes.
I feel like it's hard with that stuff. I feel like there there is room for a small game to win, right? Like Balatro was nominated. And sometimes these indie games pick up. Like Balatro wasn't nominated because it was a PlayStation game, right? It's because a lot of people, and not like a lot of people like of millions of players, but like it made an impact for being such a small game. It took people's time, right? Made people want to keep playing it. I haven't played it. I don't care about that game. But what I'm saying is like these small games do have a like they
There's
have the
space for it.
ability
Yeah.
to be recognized for making an impact in a AAA dominated award show, which is fine, right? Astral, but it also like those indies typically do something special,
Mhm.
do something unique, something that push things forward in some way. And from the looks of it, Balatro takes a unique spin on the card, game folk. I don't know. I don't really know too much about it, but apparently he's doing something different that people like. That is a very different situation than Astral. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, it doesn't matter really what game wins these game awards, right? But for something to be there where that it's only there to fulfill the Sony agenda, to be able to say, yeah, here's the PlayStation first party game that got its nod and its victory, right? For that to be the reason why it's there is crazy. It's crazy. If this was like The Last of Us or God of War, right? I think the fact that I'm pretty sure God of War beat Red Dead Redemption 2 for game of the year in 2018. That crazy. Crazy that happened. But was I outraged? No, I thought it was stupid. I think that 100% Red Dead Redemption 2 is the better game, more impactful game, the more meaningful game, um, the more relevant game today, where people are still talking about Red Dead Redemption 2, whereas nobody talks about uh, God of War, right? Like people are still playing Red Dead Redemption 2 out there on the internet and out in these streets. Nobody's playing 2018 God of War unless you just got a PlayStation for the first time, right? It's not happening. Or if you just got it on PC, and even still, like on PC is not really doing much. Point is that something like that, at least you can look at it and be like, all right, but you can see, God of War 2018 did something different for that franchise. It reinvigorated the franchise. It did something, you know, at least you can see why it was up there. Astro Bot did no such thing. Astro Bot has no such purpose. It should have been a free game. It should have just been a free game for the PlayStation 5. Somebody, I forget who it was, maybe Razor Ultron said it in the chat. We've heard about it. It was a rumor that that game was a pack-in for the PlayStation 5. And because they don't have games, they took it out so that it can be released later as a full-fledged game. And
Standalone.
so,
Yeah.
so instead of doing another demo, they fleshed it out, right? They added more to it to make it a game that they could sell. And I mean, that's ridiculous, bro. Like, it's ridiculous that that game is there.
That's
It
wild.
is.
That's I mean, you just reminded us all that the game
So
was
stupid.
free
It was. Like,
previously, and now it's game of the year, guys.
yeah, yeah.
Now it's game of the year.
I love how people say you probably didn't even play the game, same money. Why are you talking shit? Bro, we played the game. It was free. It was free a few years ago.
It's the
Okay,
same
and I said,
thing.
I'm sorry, and I said, I'm sorry, I said that the Astro Bot should have been a pack-in for the PlayStation 5. I meant for the PlayStation 5 Pro.
Bro.
The Pro, it was gonna be a pack-in for. Obviously, the first one was a pack-in for the PlayStation 5. But it's like we played it. We played it. I seen your trailer and I seen the game that I played on PlayStation 5. It's the same shit. It's just other things you're doing, right? More things. Fine. Great. Nobody cares. That doesn't make a game of the year. It didn't make Astro Bot game of the year for the first one. Why wasn't the first one nominated? It had a high rating too. It was 90 meta, 91. Why wasn't that nominated?
Because PlayStation, they were making other games at the time.
Oh,
That's
got it.
why,
Got
because
it.
they were
Got it.
making other
Got it.
games. So
Makes sense.
now they're to the point where they have to go ahead and take a game that used to be free, that has not been elevated in any freaking substantial way, and they're now charging for it $60. Not a free game that is now $19.99. No, $60 for this game, and it's game of the year. It was never seen before. No one cared about it, but it made such a movement, and it's just such a big deal. I mean, everyone must have been asleep when the other ones released, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
for
how did
sure.
they miss it? How did they miss it?
Good question.
Man,
Nobody
that's
knows.
wild.
Nobody knows.
That's
It's
wild. How
wild.
the world evolves into wanting some all shit later on and making it a great thing.
Except the
Eh,
world didn't show up for it.
no,
And it was
no,
just
no one cared.
no
No
one
one
cared.
cared because it shouldn't have been even a freaking nominee for Game of the Year. Are you kidding me?
Dead ass, dead ass. And what makes me laugh too is the people who are trying to flex because it won.
I know.
It's like, fam, that
Like,
doesn't
really?
help your cause. It just shows how loose you are because the survey says you probably didn't play it yourself. And you're out here trying to flex for a game that you didn't even touch. But
The crazy thing though, that they're so concerned with us knowing. Like, let's say Hellblade 2 was nominated for Game of the Year and it won. Yes, exciting, great for Xbox. Shout out to Ninja Theory. Congratulations on your win. Done.
that's
Right?
it.
That would be the
That's it.
conversation because that's the only thing that matters. But they're so concerned with what we think of it. Our opinion matters so much to them. We take so much space in their mind. Xbox takes so much space in their mind. Their games take so much space in their mind. It's wild. It's like they live and breathe for us. That's insane. We appreciate it, but like live your own life. Enjoy your moment if it actually means something. If it means that much to you, right?
Facts.
Just saying.
It's true. It's true. We got the homie Truck Net, man. Thank you, bro, for
Yo,
being here. Thank you for that $5 super chat. Says, funny how they let Kratos actor dig at Modern Warfare 3 hard last year, but offer Black Ops 6 no retribution for a job well done. Also, Ken Kutaragi got snubbed hard. Yo, that was hilarious that Geoff Keighley went ahead and said, we have made such a big deal about having the father of PlayStation, Ken Kutaragi, and like he got up. I thought he was going to come and talk. He thought he was going to go and
yeah.
talk. And
Let
just
me
like, nah, I'm going to go from the father of PlayStation to the actress in some game. Boom, real quick. And just shut him down. That was wild that took place. How do you not like prepare that man? Let him know, like, hey, we're gonna shout you
so you
out,
don't look a
okay?
fool.
So you
Go
don't
get
look
off
stupid.
that
We're not
seat.
calling you up here. You know what's wild? They probably told him
That he was gonna
to
talk.
be there so that they can shout him out. And he just assumed, like, well, I flew all the way over here. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go ahead and get on that stage, right? No. Not at all. Not at all. Black Ops 6 was a travesty for not being like acknowledged any of the wins. Like, how do you not win multiplayer? Like best multiplayer. Like I saw somebody tweet out that it lost to Helldivers, but Black Ops 6 has more players, is number 1 on PlayStation. Right? Like
That's
it's number
wild.
1 on
Yeah.
PlayStation. But come on, man.
They don't even understand their own wins. That's
Facts.
that's where, like, okay, so they're busy playing Black Ops 6,
Which
but
means which means that it's not being played, right? It's not being played um
PC,
on
PC,
PlayStation. It's
bro,
being played on
PC.
PC. But then if you were gonna take a game and say, well, a a a game that's primarily being played on PC, we're gonna put that in the running for multiplayer, then you gotta stop being a dumbass and start looking at PC games that are out there that are multiplayer games, right? Because I'm pretty sure if you want to talk about numbers on PC, Counter-Strike Go and Valorant and these other games are for sure way higher up than Helldivers. Maybe not Valorant. I don't know, but Counter-Strike for sure is up there, right? Like it's the highest one, right? So like come on. Like what like it's bullshit. It's bullshit. But yeah, that also was crazy how Kratos how that dude took a jab at Modern Warfare 3. Like, come on, dog. Like that game laps the games that you've been a part of with God of War, like in every sense of the way. Like, get out of here with your nonsense. Um, but yeah, so again, obviously, we see on the face of Phil and the squad, they were they were disenchanted, right, with what took place. But again, like this is not just us. This is there's other people who were upset about it. First of all, if you look at the guy presenting, he looks stupefied,
Yeah.
right? He looks stupefied. So let me bring this one up. So Anderson says pony old tricks are not working anymore with the laughing face. Hashtag just buy an Xbox. Hashtag Xbox Game Pass. So look at the face. I need you to see it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
We
put this video
we're gonna
up.
put this
I'm gonna
we're gonna
put this
put this
video up,
on.
right? So I need you to look at this
It's funny, I
and
was like,
see
"What
it.
is taking," like, he was so uncomfortable, but, I mean, let's go.
All right. So watch. I need you to watch when he sees the name in the card.
And the game of the year is
Hell, I didn't see this coming. Yo, yo, that's wild.
Yo,
That's wild. Oh,
look at look at him.
look at
He's like,
"This
look at
is
that face.
uncomfortable."
This is his face after reading the announcement, after reading it himself before he says it, right?
Says it all, man. That's wild.
Look,
Like, he's like, "Am I
look
gonna
at that
get
face.
jumped up here
Look at that
for saying
face.
this crap?" Man.
Okay. Does that look
Normally, they're
like somebody,
excited. Normally, they're like,
right?
"Yeah,
You're presenting game of the year. You want
it's
it,
a big
right? You're
deal."
coming over here. You want to pass it to somebody who deserves it.
Yeah.
And he looked at that shit and he said, God
Mhm.
damn it. Why?
Why
How could
me?
this? What a mockery. Like he's looking at it and he's saying to himself, what does this mean about us winning this award? We
Exactly.
thought this award meant something. And you're telling me that my company, my quality bar is shared by motherfucking Astro Bot?
That's wild.
It says it all, dude. It's the face doesn't lie. He can't hide it. No matter how you cut it, he can't. Watch it again. Look at it. He was smiling.
Yeah, and
Look
this
at
is
his face. Look at
someone
his
that
eyes.
is aware that the camera is on him. Can you imagine? Can you
Dude,
imagine?
listen, look at his eyes right now.
They
He's
sparkle.
happy. He's
Yes.
giddy. He's excited. He's saying to himself, wow, I'm about to announce this game, for all we know, inside he's like, I can't wait to see who beats that stupid fucking robot for being nominated, right? You gotta see it. Look at it. Look at his eyes. He's so happy, right? This is pre-knowing who won. Look at him. Look at that joy.
And the game of the year is
Astro Bot. Astro Bot. Astro Bot.
Look at the
step back.
After he
step
says
back.
it, look at the dissatisfaction.
Yep.
Astro Bot. Look at
Excitement? Excitement? Wait, look at this. Look at this.
Look. Happy? Happy face? That's him. He's a happy dude. He sees the name. He doesn't know how to react.
He's like, how am I gonna tell them
look.
this? Oh, bad news,
Look,
guys.
God damn.
Mhm.
God damn.
And
then look at the face. Look at the face.
I disagree with this message.
Look at that face.
I do not approve this message. That's the face he's making.
That's literally the face he's making. Like, what am I watching here? But they went ahead and collected a bunch of other people's reactions of people who were streaming. Check it out.
And the game of the year is
Astro Bot.
It's wild. This is crazy. It's crazy. Everyone feel the same reaction. Like, what? What?
Yo.
Did they just do that?
Yo. Come on, man.
The crazy thing is, even expecting it, you're like, oh, damn.
It's
that
true.
really happened.
It's true. Let me get my boy Be Nice real quick. Thank you, bro, for being here, man. Thank you for that $2 super chat. Happy Sunday, bro. Says here at work, listening on and off. Oh, appreciate you, fam. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. But yeah, you can see it, bro. You can see it. There's no denying this shit. Nobody respects this decision. Nobody. Listen, people can look at the Astro Bot team and say, hey, listen, you made a good game. Nobody's saying that they didn't make a fine game. Sure, they copied. That's what they did. No problem. Okay, that's fine.
Charging for the game, people will have fun.
Like, sure, it's okay.
Sure, that's all acceptable.
But you have to,
bitch.
What? Like that's the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, you literally have to, like, at what point do you say, yo, Jeff, dog, take me off that ballot? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. You know we just copied this shit, right? Like, yeah, it's fun, but we ain't no game of the year. Like, at what point do you have that type of self-respect? And you just say, nah, I'm good with family, though. I'm good with family.
Even they felt like, listen, we do want to bring Nintendo up. We are just not allowed to. But we have to thank them. Like, this is, like, you would think that knowing that you can't bring up the name, you wouldn't take that path. And he said, F it, I'm still taking this path. I have to. But awkward, man. Awkward. And it's not deserved. And I think that the team knows it. And it's good for them to understand. And I mean, it can't, I don't know how it would feel to hear the whole world tell you the same thing and see the reaction of the ones that are not saying anything, because you know you didn't earn that. So this is one of those extreme situations where you're like, was doing this, did it cause more damage than not? There's a lot of people, listen, there's that line where we can go ahead and talk about, oh, that wasn't fair, or that wasn't right, or, you know, this game should have been nominated, and then where it goes too far, where it's just like really obvious what the agenda is here. And I think a lot of people saw things that maybe they weren't aware of or thought that were real with this win.
Yeah, it's crazy. What I would like to do, what I like to have is somebody come and try to explain why this deserved to win Game of the Year over everything else that was nominated. I would love to just
I mean,
have
at this point, give it to
some
the
explanation.
DLC, right?
Yeah, seriously,
F it.
seriously,
F it. We can see the effort, but man, come on. Come on.
it's embarrassing.
It is. It is.
Yo, the homie Robo Boy Lewis bars.
Well,
Thank you
in
for
the
being here,
house.
brother. Thank you for that
What's up?
super chat. Says he was like last year, my BG3 won, and now this. Exactly. That's what they don't realize. It lowers the credibility of the award. It takes away from the value.
Of course. Of course.
You
This
know
is
what I'm
not an
saying?
isolated situation. It's not. It's a more obvious one, but it's not isolated. So everything is up for question now when it comes to these people that felt like they had something that they did that was special, right? Say it
Exactly.
isn't so. That's what they're feeling. Jeff, we need answers.
Definitely do. Definitely do. It was it's definitely an
Well,
embarrassment.
listen, okay, so back to the developers of Black Myth Wukong, right? This guy saying I had a speech ready 2 years ago. You feel like you're making something very special, right? It has to be a very personal relationship, right? If you're storytelling and everything you're incorporating into this game, you're feeling like people are going to connect with, you feel something about it that you must be like, they are going to think that this is as special as I think it is, right? So you go in with that mentality. But if you won Game of the Year and you see Astro Bot take it, that all goes away. It just it has to.
Agreed. Agreed.
The nominees, I didn't agree with them all, but like I can see how they all deserved it more. By far.
I mean, it's like that's the easiest thing to
And
see.
I saw Togo in the chat. Shout out to Togo. Saying that maybe like one of the requirements is smiling from ear to ear, and then maybe that's just what needed to get checked off, right?
Facts. Facts. 100%. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, listen, uh this is still
Congratulations.
yeah, this is still something that people are talking about. But look, it's obviously something worth discussing because it's clear we weren't alone in this reaction, right? Across the board, the people in the industry are looking at this, and again, it devalues the whole idea of what this
It
award show
does.
is.
It does. For me, the idea of what the award show actually is has been kind of like I didn't really I saw it happening. So I think the moment I saw the nominations, I'm like, all right, whatever. Right. But it's still worth having the conversation for sure with the fact that this is all out there like this, right? People are seeing what we saw. Maybe they weren't expecting it to play out like this. I felt like it was just based on the nominations we saw the pattern that we're going to go ahead and take. Um it shouldn't have happened, but it did. So it is what it is.
Agreed. Agreed 100%. I see Zach McCoy in the building. What's up, man?
Zach,
Thank you for being
what's
here.
good,
Dion
love?
Landon. What's up, fam? Thank you for being here. The real one or the real
Dion.
OG. What's going on, fam?
Yes.
Yeah. General Spartan 27. What's up, homie?
What's good,
Yeah,
love?
it's a I don't know. It's wild. It's wild. It just kind of, it's just another reason why the award portion of this show just means less and less as time goes on. You know what I'm saying? That's all. It's just what it is. All right. Anything else, baby girl? I'm gonna move on to the next topic.
I'm just glad that it's a little more clear to those that couldn't see um the nonsense that takes place with these awards, right? I feel like some blindfolds kind of just fell off.
Agreed. Agreed. Like the industry people
Yeah.
looking at it like, what the hell's going on here? All right. All right. So let me go ahead and bring this up. So we are moving on. As Demo mentioned, this popped up. I thought it would be
Shout out to
an
Demo.
interesting conversation. So rumor has it that Lego Horizon Adventures could be coming to Xbox in the coming months. Um, so this is Tom Henderson over at Insider Gaming. Um, he has a story that he put up. So let's read it and then see what we feel about this. Uh, so it says here it has been claimed that Lego Horizon Adventures could soon be coming to Xbox in a bid to make the game a commercial success. That's according to Arab media outlet Just Play It, who claim that their sources have said that Lego Horizon Adventures will be coming to Xbox in the coming months. While the outlet did not give a specific date, they said it's likely to come in the first months of 2025 at most. Even went as far as to speculate that it could be sooner. The move comes as the console exclusivity strategy between platforms has shifted in the past few years. PlayStation has seen tremendous success in bringing some of its titles to PC, whereas Xbox has decided to bring the majority of exclusives over to PlayStation. Uh, I don't want to go into that because we're going to
Yeah.
talk about that. But yes, so that's the verbiage, right? So looks like somebody has over at Just Play It has some sources to say that it's coming to Xbox in the coming months. Now, let's just get this out of the way. Ain't nobody looking for this game. Okay. The game was trash. If you're looking for commercial success, putting it on Xbox is not going to help you because we are even more
We don't want it.
particular about the games. Like we buy games, but we want to buy good games, right? And Lego Horizon is just, I mean,
It ain't
obviously
it. It ain't it.
it.
You
It ain't
messed
it.
up a freaking Lego game. How dare you? How could you? How could you? The game was 15% off when it was out for pre-orders, and now it's $40. It's on sale, you guys. The reality is it went to PC, Nintendo, freaking PlayStation, and the game is not selling like they thought it would. Remember, their most important IPs are Horizon and Concord. And we know what happened to
Facts.
Concord. And here's Lego Horizon, you guys. And it's not
Facts.
doing a damn thing. It's not.
It's not. It's not. And this is just the reality is, okay? The reality is that that game just wasn't great. And it's not like we talked about it, being on Nintendo Switch and maybe that's going to
Help
help
it.
it. But I mean, the game didn't get good reviews. Nobody knows who Alloy is. Nobody knows what
Nobody
Horizon is.
cares. I think that's the bigger deal. No one cares.
Facts. Facts. Yeah. So the homie Michael with the facts for us says Lego Ho is 2,119 bestseller on Steam right now. 2,119. Jesus. 39 people playing it right now on Steam. That's wild. But aside from the fact that it's a crap game, we get it. The fact that it's a game that is already on the Switch, right? This is already like the first game that they essentially chose to make, multi-platform right off the rip. It's on everything, PC and Switch. Um, this is the fact that it might be coming to Xbox at some point. Again, this is just like an inevitability, right? Like this is just stuff that's going to happen over time. And you know, I think Xbox gets a lot of like crap for the fact that it's not playing coy with this. They're
Yep.
not trying to hide it. They're not trying to trick you into keep buying a Xbox if you don't want one to play these games. They're embracing the idea that they're putting their games everywhere as much as possible so that the games can be experienced by as many people as possible and they can make as much money as possible.
I mean, PlayStation's trying to let Xbox get the heat for
Yeah,
it, right?
but
Like
they're doing the same
they're doing
thing.
the same damn thing,
They're doing the same
except
thing.
that they have a lot less games.
Exactly.
So
So
the
the
moment that you
frequency
start
is
putting your
less.
games everywhere, what do you have left for your platform? Stop acting stupid. You're not getting PlayStation games left and right.
Facts.
What are you buying the box for? Where are those, first party games coming for PlayStation?
Exactly. Right? That's the thing, right? So it's like the scale is just different. When you have as many games coming out on Xbox every year, and if your plan is to have your games out on as many places as possible, right? Then clearly it's going to make more of a headline every year when you're releasing multiple games. PlayStation has one game, a year that they're planning to release of any significance, right? That's their goal. Is one game, right? So like Helldivers 2, people are sweating that game back when it released. That was day and date on PC. They said it'll never happen, right? But all of a sudden they did multiple day and dates on PC, right? Obviously, it's clear that they are moving to the same place, right? They want their games played by as many people as possible. You're going to see this continue to happen. This is one that should be coming soon. Fine. Again, we don't care about it. And frankly, we don't care about any of those PlayStation games coming over here. Again, if we did, right, we would probably have a PlayStation. I have a PlayStation because I used to care about those games, figuring that maybe they'll deliver something good, but they haven't. And it was a waste for the most part, right? So the reality is that for the majority of players on Xbox who own an Xbox, uh, don't care about these games coming over. We have so many games coming from Xbox. We have so many third-party games. Nobody cares if PlayStation brings these games over to Xbox, but
No,
PlayStation
no,
does.
we're
PlayStation
not gonna
does.
run around like they're doing over Indiana Jones. Like, we could care less. We could care less. And if we wanted the game, we would have gotten it on PC, Switch. The options have been there. If we didn't want to get it on PlayStation. But the options are there.
Exactly. It's not something that matters to us, but it does matter to PlayStation. For PlayStation, it does matter. PlayStation needs to make more money. This is not a conversation of us having an opinion on it. This is just what they do. They've been doing this for a long time and they're still in the same place, relatively speaking. They're only worth about $100 billion in that range, somewhere in there, right? Like you're talking magnitudes of a difference between that and where Xbox sits with Microsoft, right? Where
Absolutely.
Microsoft is.
Absolutely.
So they need the money and they want to put their games in as many places as possible. They've already said this, right? Hiroki Totoki said it. The CEO of Sony said it. Shit, Herman Hulse said it in his way, right? Things are gonna have to change. Things are gonna get done. They want it to be everywhere. And the issue is that it becomes a headline for Xbox when Xbox is just doing it to number one, um, obviously make as much money as possible, right? but out of the fact that, like, number 2, they're taking that money and they're putting it back into the console, right? They're going ahead and investing all that money into more games coming into Game Pass. We know they have more acquisitions coming. And after the Game Awards, some of them are looking sexy, dude. Sega, before I was like this on Sega. It's like, whatever. If they get it, great. If they don't, I don't care.
They won
But
you over? Yes, they
oh
are
yeah,
popping. They are making things
I
happen.
want those
I
games
did
in
not
Game
know
Pass,
that they
baby.
were gonna go ahead and show up like that. Yes, it would be amazing for them to scoop them up and just drop those games in Game Pass for us. Absolutely. Um, you
It
know,
is.
there is a big difference, right? We know damn well that, Xbox is doing this from a position of power and PlayStation is not. They're doing it out of necessity. We know their ways, we know how they do things, we know that they love their exclusives, right? Even when it comes to PC, much later they hit PC and that has changed as well. So this is a
Yep.
necessity. We need to go ahead and make money, right? Whereas obviously Xbox have been bringing either games that were already supposed to be on other platforms or have been on other platforms, or like Matt Booty said, some games are bigger than the platform. Let's try this out. Let's test this out. But when you when you're putting on other platforms in games and they're not your only games, right? I mean, I think there's a big difference. I think that I saw somewhere in here saying Xbox is for the majority of their games, and it's like, w- what happened in 2024 that I missed? Like, it's just it's a ridiculous way to put this out there, but this is just a way to justify the fact that this is happening with Lego Horizon. And it's like, just stop the bull crap, right?
Facts.
Just be transparent. You need the money. We got to put our games everywhere. That is it. That is it. Like, you guys think we don't know what's going on?
We all see it.
We all see
We all
it.
see it and heard you, by the way.
Yes.
We all see it and we heard you,
And
right?
and
So
we've been a part of, like, we saw the fail. We saw how you've been dropping the ball nonstop. If you weren't putting your games everywhere, we would be sending you letters to do so because you need to. Financially, you need to. Now, that's not to say that your games are gonna sell. I sure as heck am not gonna go ahead and pick up Lego Horizon. No, thank
uh,
you. And based on what I'm seeing in the chat, I mean,
doesn't look like anybody
it
else is
doesn't
on
look
board with the idea
promising,
either.
at least not from this end.
Facts.
So good luck or not. It is what it is.
That's the truth. That's the truth. Our boy Jesse B in the
Yes,
building.
CB,
Thank you
what's
both for being
good?
here. Thank you for that $5 super chat.
Thank you, love.
Says they release Lego Horizon to over 300 million possible players, and they need us to be commercially successful? Question mark. Does anyone see the irony? Question mark. Agreed. Agreed. I mean, this is the thing. They had plenty of people who had eyes on it. The idea that they want to put it on Xbox to find success is because they know that on Xbox, this is where the most people buy games.
Oh, no, we don't buy games, CMoney. We
Oh, they
don't buy
know.
games. We don't spend money on games. But anytime that they need a hero, someone to save them, someone to do it, where do they go ahead and look? Over to Xbox.
That's
Please
wild.
save us.
That's wild. Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's true. Look, at the end of the day, it's
Be
it's
gone.
crazy.
Be gone.
It's crazy that they have so many people who can possibly buy this game, and people are just not doing it. Um, so I don't know what the desire is. Like, I don't even think this is a game that Xbox would give them a bag for.
No, I don't think
You know what
they
I'm saying?
should. I don't think they should. This is the thing. And this is just with the game being promoted as just a Lego game, right? This is a Lego game. People would gravitate towards it just on that. And then supposedly they're using such a big IP that, both things combined should be a big deal. But what people don't know, or most people don't know, because the game hasn't been selling like that, is what Hargeet told us. He got the game, and it's missing the Lego aspect of it. What makes a Lego game a Lego game? He had to chop down the game and play it. Why he couldn't play more than 20 minutes at the time? It's
Yeah,
like, come on, man. Come on.
agreed. Agreed. But this just signals more of what to expect over time. That look, it's all gonna go that way. You know what I'm saying? It's all gonna go that way. PlayStation doesn't have enough. They can sell all the consoles in the world. They don't have enough players that are actively buying games. We've seen it in their numbers, we've seen it in their quarters, how little people actually buy games on their console. Like, I think we did the math out of like the 60 something million people plus PlayStation
65.5?
4. Yeah, plus the PlayStation
The
4.
PlayStation 5 I thought you were talking about. Go
Well,
ahead.
yeah. Well, I mean, there's a 65 million people on PlayStation 5, and then the PlayStation 4 has, 50 million or so still over there, right? Maybe even 60 million. Um, so you have that many people, and out of that many people, roughly, give or take, only somewhere between 15 to 20 million people actually are buying games over there, like in a quarter. That's crazy. That's crazy. They only sold 77 million games in the last quarter. You have 65.5 million people on PlayStation, supposedly. You still have all those people on PlayStation 4. Again, you figure still half of them are over there. So, another 60 million, 50 million, whatever it is. So you got like 115 million people playing between both consoles. And
They can't save you?
and you only have 77 million games sold, and most people who are hardcore will buy more than one game in any given quarter, right? Now remember, these are not even first party games. This is just who bought games in
In
there.
general.
Only 5 million people bought first party games last quarter. Okay,
Ouch.
understand that. But 77 million people, right? I'm sorry, 77 million games. That means if you figure if every hardcore player just bought 2 games a year, you're looking at about 35 million, potential people who did it. But the real life answer is probably closer to about 3 games for a hardcore person. And you're talking now you bring it down to like literally around 20 million people who even bought a game in that quarter. That's crazy. That's crazy. Like, come on, man. Like that's insane. So the people look at it like they know that over on Xbox, they have people who actually are wanting to buy these games. They need them, right?
And
They need them.
we hear those numbers, right? And these are just the people that are still giving them the benefit of the doubt that they're gonna go ahead and make something um that that's substantial.
Facts.
As they continue to let people down and showing them their ways, like it's just gonna get worse and worse.
It really is. It really is. Um, you know what? It's funny because look at our boy E Ranks make it
It was
with the
good.
facts. People love Lego games. Lego Fortnite is popping. It
It's
really
so
is.
good.
Truth is, no one likes boring ass Horizon games. Alloy has the
Oh,
personality of a
oh.
cardboard box. Bro, you know what? I've seen my kids play with cardboard boxes, dog.
Are more entertaining.
Don't disrespect the cardboard box, fam. Not against Alloy. No, I'm sorry. There's no way to put that in comparison, fam. Bro, that Alloy has like she has they even try to give her a
They did,
personality.
they did.
We all acknowledge that when we watch the trailers that she looked like she has so much more personality than she did in the regular games. But even then, it doesn't
Not enough,
matter.
not
It
enough.
it's It's a
That's what's
joke.
wild. They
It's a
change her
joke.
personality and they still people are like, "Next. We don't want it. We don't want it."
It's true, man. It's true. It's what it is. It's embarrassing. Nobody likes Horizon. Dude. Horizon is trash.
Someone should tell Herman.
I know. He lives in his
He
la la
does
land.
not know, guys. He doesn't know.
It's true. The homie Wilbur Boy
Well,
Lewis,
what's
that
good,
$2 super
baby?
chat, man. Appreciate you,
Thank
homie. Says
you.
they didn't put it on Xbox to spite them. Now they want the help.
Exactly.
Exactly. It's crazy. It's crazy what it is.
Save me.
Same, you know, you can't finish that part. Oh my god. Nah, but it's crazy. It's crazy. Listen, I look, as far as like this stuff coming over, expect that that's just gonna be the thing. That will be the norm at some point in time. As this continues to go, you'll see that the games are gonna slowly go from drop it on PlayStation to drop it on PlayStation and PC at the same time. And then they already accepted the Switch as a day one drop,
Yep.
right? So obviously it's going to take a lot longer for them to do that for an Xbox, but as far as like eventually these games coming over, it's just a matter of time. They need it.
And why should they care? They don't these developers don't want these games. It shouldn't matter. That's what they're gonna say. This game doesn't matter. Lego Horizon doesn't matter. But it's like that's all you got.
Facts. You know, Sheep Among Go makes a great point. Says, "What do you bet the Horizon Online game gets canceled?" I gotta tell you, I think that's a very big possibility. Remember, that game doesn't actually exist, right? Like it's all rumors
So hype.
for that game, but that
Hype.
game doesn't actually exist, you know, publicly yet. So honestly, I really do feel like there's a good chance that after seeing the response to Lego Horizon and the response to just Horizon in general, because this was their big moment. They thought they were gonna take Horizon to new places, right? Again, the last super chat we had from our homie Jesse B, over 300 million people saw the trailers on Steam or PlayStation or Nintendo Switch, like the little ads, right? Like 300 million people plus could have pulled the trigger and bought that game, could have done it, but they didn't. They didn't. And I think that that's going to be a huge eye opener to PlayStation, because at what point do they actually go ahead and realize that that franchise is not going to get any bigger?
It's not that franchise. It's not the other franchise. It's not the next franchise. At what point is PlayStation going to understand that it's you? You're the problem. It's you. That's it. It's not nothing other than them. They don't know how to make games. They don't know what they're doing. It's them.
True. It's true. I mean, look, it is what it is. If there's nothing else, we're gonna move on. But this is just it doesn't surprise me to see this, right? It's not like, oh wow, I can't believe this is possibly gonna happen. It's just like, no, it makes sense, right? Nobody cared about that game. It wasn't a big deal to anyone. Um, and now they're gonna try to get as much as they can from it. And they know that this game they can do it, and the the piggies or the gallopers or however, I know we swapped
Donkeys.
it.
I like calling them
I
donkeys.
see you, Duke.
Look,
The
our boy.
We know that the piggies are gonna say, oh well, it's just a Lego game. It's Lego who made them put it on Xbox. So that's why. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
I mean,
they're
the
gonna be able to
self-soothing.
excuse
The
it.
self-soothing.
Yes, they know they'll be able to excuse it,
And
and that's why it is what it
and
is.
Horizon not having the online freaking game, that may not be the only thing affected. Look at Naughty Dog. Look at what they're going through with their new game. What does that mean? How is that going to affect what they do? It's
Facts.
shaky. Things are shaky. They can't get anything right, bro. They can't.
Agreed, 100%. We got our boy Smitty Smith in the building with that $5 super chat.
Yo, what's up,
Says,
love?
you know you're in trouble when the Nintendo folks was like, nah, we ain't playing the Lego Hodo.
Look
The
X,
Book of X.
baby.
It's true, man.
Yes.
It's true. Like they were we kept saying like they were the only shop.
What a slap in the face. They're like, we made this game thinking of the Nintendo fans. And they're
And they
like,
said the fuck
shut
you
the
did.
door. We don't want it. The
We don't
Nintendo
love them
fans have
hoes.
spoken. What'd you say?
They said we don't love them hoes. No, no, no. They don't want it. They did not want it, dude. They did not want it. It's crazy, but you're right, Smitty Smith. Like they did not accept it. They don't care. And I mean, it's just the reality of what it is. It's just what it is. You can't get in with them. Like we talked about it. We said that was their only hope. We said that was the reason they made this game, to hope that they could break out and get into that sweet Nintendo market.
What do you think is gonna happen when you bring it to the Xbox community?
Facts.
Oh my
Facts.
gosh, this is messy.
They're gonna
Can
be
you
begging for that
imagine
Game Pass
having
bag. I would assume.
They're like, "Oh my goodness, they just don't have the box," right? They just don't have the box. No, it's your games. They're whack.
Facts. That's the truth. That's the truth. All right. Let me get my chapter over here.
It's the developers. They don't buy games. No, your games are whack.
Your games
They
are
bought
doo-doo.
Call of Duty.
They did.
They're
They
gonna
did.
buy Indiana Jones.
They will. That's facts. I mean, those are just facts. All right. So the next one, listen, I feel like we have to bring it up because again, it's in the conversation. But the idea now Jez put out there, he put up a poll that says, do you care if Xbox has console exclusive games? Right. And you know, it turned out a lot closer than I would have thought on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, still more people did, but a lot of people did not. And he's making the rounds now because of you know, his response to, I believe it was a special, Nick tweet talking about he heard of like 3 games or something like that that are um that were talked about but that are not um right here it is. Right here. He says, all right, let me show you. So Special Nick did this tweet. So Clobril did a poll saying Xbox Studios 2025 schedule is seriously looking insane at this point. And he has Outer Worlds 2, Avowed, South of Midnight, Doom, Fable. Obviously, that leaves. I mean, this is Xbox Game Studios, so he's being very specific. But that being said, Doom is not part of that, so it's really just those 4, because that's Bethesda. But either way, if he's talking about Xbox's year, we know that there's actually about 8 games that we know for sure are coming, which is wild. So Special Nick said, I was actually given code name for 3 unannounced Xbox games, all due at the moment next year too. So there's 3 more supposedly that are due next year, right? It says one of the games I actually found out what it was, and the people will be excited, I reckon, right? Which is fine. Nice little tweet, cool. And then Achievement asks, any of those exclusive or going to PlayStation 2? And then this is where Jez entered the arena. He says Xbox won't have exclusives going forward. Everything is timed exclusive at most. So obviously, obviously that is
A very
I
bold
feel like there's a
statement. It's
very
something.
bold statement to
This
make.
is the thing. You're feeling the way that that's being delivered is as if Phil is saying this, right? Or Matt Booty. Like, what are we talking about here? This is like an Xbox statement in the way that it's written. Like, it's not a I think, or maybe like
Like,
it,
that is fact.
but
Yeah,
yes, like,
that is
listen,
fact.
and you said it before. I give my opinion, right? And people want to take it a certain way, but at what point do you say maybe I'm not phrasing it in a way that it sounds like it's an opinion and I'm just talking as if this is what's happening? And honestly, it sounds a tad ridiculous to say something like this when you're not in there, right? When you're not, and even if you were in there, like if you're not a part of the decision making of where these games are going to go. I just I don't know. I think it's a little loose when it comes to the way that it's phrased.
Yeah, I mean, like, we know that Jez has said in the past that if he knows something for sure, he'll write an article on it. Um,
And that these are just
and that
opinions.
these are opinions. I mean,
Yes.
but he has written articles similar to this idea in the past. And that's why, number one, I don't know. Well, we do know because you can see it right on the screen, right? Why did he bring it up again? Right? Because this is something that we've already seen. We just had Matt Booty talk about it, right? Like, official people talk about this. And then what do you spot different here? So let's go to Clobro, right? Well, actually, Clobro does pretty good. Well, but Clobro also does the engagement. But let's start with Special Nick. Special Nick has like almost 20,000 followers, so he's not like some insignificant
Shout out
person
to
on
Special
Twitter.
Nick.
So his has 31,000 views, right? His quote tweet. Achievement has 8.4 thousand views. Jez says what he says, 106,000 views, right? That's the engagement.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
what they're looking
That's why
for.
the phrasing doesn't change, because if it's honestly, I'm especially when you're typing, sometimes when you say something, you just assume obviously people are just hearing your opinion, you're in conversation and you're like, "Well, I think this or whatever," but or I disagree, or this is what's going to happen, this is what I see happening. In conversation is different. When you're typing something out, you are very aware of what it's being written, right? So I just feel like that's even more of a situation where you'll be like, "Well, this is just what I'm what I think that will be happening." So the phrasing is just it
And it's
it
done for a
seems to be
reason.
done, yeah, it's
Yeah, like,
questionable. If you're
I
aware that people are taking the things you're saying as if they are things that are going to happen and you're not like, "Oh, you can't say, well, I'm just giving my opinion," when you're understanding that people are saying, "Well, it's not coming off that way." Um, if you're not changing it, it's for a reason. The
agreed.
phrasing.
Yeah, I mean, it's to get that engagement, right? Which is look, again, and it is what it is, but again, this has triggered a whole bunch of other people going ahead and, you know, um going ahead and kind of spinning the narrative again, right? And I know it's weird because you feel like these things get talked about often, right? But it's like we need to have these conversations when they come up, because if not, then that just stays the only narrow that exists. And obviously, I don't mean us only. I'm talking about as a community, people need to be able to go into this and just be like, listen, this is number one, not a new idea that was proposed, right? The idea is simple. Our boy Phil said no red lines, right? And we know that that is literally just a a way for them to say, like, set expectations that they're going to be looking at different games, right? There's no red lines as to what they'll look at. Doesn't mean there's no red lines to what they'll actually release, right? And then you have Matt Booty again officially follow up and go ahead and say that it's case by case, right? So nothing really changed in that respect, right? It's still case by case. It's not a um a broad stroke, right?
It's
It's
not,
not a
and you could
broad stroke.
imagine as a business, they go ahead and this is something that they can do if they wanted to, right? So the conversation comes up. You obviously every game is different and it's an individual situation. So they're being as transparent as possible, trying to say instead of trying to tell you like we don't even consider anything, right? We don't even talk about anything, which is funny because, back in February, that was the whole discussion. Oh, they're talking about this, they're talking about that. So they're being very open. Yes, these things are case by case. This is something that we talk about. Nothing's off the table when it comes to having a discussion. Does that mean that it's going to happen? The answer is no. I think when you're at risk of any little move that you make, having someone who knows a janitor or whoever the heck it is, or the guy that brings in paper or whatever it is, or coffee, like having taking the risk, knowing the risk that there's somebody who knows somebody or somebody just malicious who wants to put out there whatever bullshit they want rather than the truth, or knowing and understanding that this is a business and you should let them just cook and figure out what they want to do with their business rather than spreading gossip. I mean, they're taking the most transparent path that you can take. This is a case by case. Nothing's off the table. We discuss everything. That's what they were trying to put out there. Oh, even Halo was up for discussion, or this was up for discussion. Yes. Why wouldn't they probably have these conversations? Like, oh my gosh, can you imagine what Halo would do? What would happen if we do that? How would that damage the brand? What would that say about X? What's wrong with a conversation? It's a business. You have to explore every avenue.
Agreed. Agreed. I mean, that's really what it is. I mean, he has so it's not just like he has other statements, right, that kind of dig deeper into it. Like over here, this dude Watashi Nova says, "No way Fable goes to PlayStation. That would be devastating for their brand. Like, actually, would put them in the dirt." Jez says that game was monstrously expensive. It might not be day one, but it'll come with the current plan in place, in my opinion. So you see how it's camouflage. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the so if you read
Well, you
this,
do
right?
know how to say in my opinion. So
Exactly. So
obviously,
so when you read this though, listen to what the message was. No way Fable's gonna go. That would be devastating, right? Jess says that game was monstrously expensive. It might not be day one, but it will come with the current plan in place,
in my
in
opinion.
my
So
opinion.
what he's taking
So
from what Matt Booty's saying and what Phil is saying
exactly.
is that everything is going to go, right? No matter what, at some
That's
point or
his
another.
take on it,
That's his
right?
take on what
That's
was
his
said.
take.
But then based on what they said, I think that everything's gonna go. Like, that's a different way of putting that out there. And I think, like, obviously, we're way past the idea of how things are phrased and why they're phrased a certain way. But listen, again, it's his opinion on what they're doing or what they're saying. Um, but it doesn't make it true.
Yeah, it's funny because, like they are all for coming out here and
Causing
doing
chaos.
and causing this chaos, right? And like like these are smart people, right? Like Jez is a smart dude, right? He knows what he's doing and he does his job really well, right? So the thing is that where is the conversation of how this actually makes sense? right? Because there's no way you can try to look at this and not see that if you get out of the Twitter space, right? You get out of the Twitter bubble that exists and the fun that we have going back and forth talking crap to each other about what games were going and what games weren't going back in the day, right? Like, oh, our exclusive versus your exclusive, great. Like, there's no way of not seeing clearly that up until this point, Xbox has had their own exclusives, right? All the games released up until the change that they made in February, right, have been exclusive outside of like Minecraft and things like that, right? So if that's the case, that they've already had all the exclusives, that made us fall in love with Xbox, back in the day, right? Those exclusives were already available. And that did not ever, except for Xbox 360, and I think it's clear that the Xbox 360 was based off of a perfect storm of them having a year ahead of the competition, and they had a bunch of next gen games ready to go, and they had a bunch of third party support where they had a bunch of exclusive games that were next gen only because the PlayStation wasn't out, and there was tons of third party who released on 360. So that generation was different because they had the leap ahead, right? But since then, right, and didn't matter. All of Xbox One generation, they had a shit ton of games that were exclusive, and it did nothing to their market position, right? Nothing changed there, right? Series X, Series S, up until these moments, their games were what? Exclusive.
But let me ask you a
How did
question.
that change anything for them? What changed for them having those games exclusive? It didn't do anything, right? All of us diehard people who were here were still here, sure, but it didn't change the fact that these other people weren't coming over. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It didn't change the fact that the PlayStation fan base didn't come, like they didn't come in droves over to the Xbox side, right? Like that's just what it was. It didn't make those changes. So you inherently have a lot of people that you lost during the Xbox One generation, right? Who were on 360 and went to PlayStation 4 because of, the actual that whole bullshit that happened at the beginning of the Xbox One generation. So, like at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, and you get to reach those people who have some desire for Xbox games because they had an Xbox at one point before they left, right? And you get to reach them with Xbox games, making money from those people again. I don't see the problem here. What were you gonna say, baby? I'm sorry.
Um, wouldn't wouldn't it be easier considering, that this emotional roller coaster takes place every so often? Wouldn't it be easier for Phil and the team to come out here and say everything is going at some point or another? Done. Doors shut. Why take the energy of case by case, you know, we're looking
Exactly.
into everything and we'll see what, like, why take take it to that point where you could just, if this is figured out and this is how it's going to happen at some point or another, you save yourself a lot of nonsense by then just saying that and putting that out there.
Agreed.
I'm just saying. I think that's the road they will take if that's what they were planning to do.
And it's clear they are. Like, just look at the Outer Worlds 2 announcement, right? It
Yes,
was a trailer at the end. PlayStation 5's right there. They didn't hide
exactly.
it. They didn't wait to then reveal it later. No bullshit. It's just, hey, there it
There.
is. It's coming. Cry about it, but it is what it is. It's coming, right?
Exactly.
They didn't hide it. So if it was as cut as and dry as they're trying to make it seem, they would, right? They make it so there's more over here on
And real quick,
go
before you move
ahead.
from here, this is why these conversations need to be brought up and this needs to happen because like look at this guy here that he says no way Fable goes to PlayStation. That would be devastating. Like that's what they don't understand or they don't care about. The fact that there are and that's what they're kind of counting on the fact that some people will just you know, believe what's said or get emotional about this mess and just like lose it over it. That's obviously the type of issues that are meant to be created when you go ahead and put something out there like this. But because of people like that feel a certain way about it, and it's like it's not that cut and dry. Like, hold on. Like, it's just it's messy, but some people do feel a certain way and it's not cool. It's not cool.
Facts. Um, and even if you go here, right? Like there, like see how this kind of spirals into other stuff,
Well,
which is
that's
wild to
the
me.
point, is it
So
not?
this dude Alistair says Xbox better have some killer hardware next gen because without exclusive, what is the draw? Only Game Pass. Game Pass is great and I love it, but I don't know. Hopefully the next gen Xbox knocks it out the park and it's just a tech marvel or something. Then Jez says this I don't understand. I think Xbox thinks hardware is doomed no matter what. What does
So
that mean?
so let me
They
get
literally
straight.
announced that
I
they're
know.
making these things.
They talked about a handheld, but hardware is doomed. Why are they making another box then? Why? So the hardware is doomed. They're putting their games everywhere at some point or another. Um, okay, got it. What's
Facts.
left? What's
I,
left?
I don't know. He continues. It sucks. I love Xbox and have been with them ever since I started working and bought my first Xbox 360. Probably will stay with Xbox since my library is there, but will start using my PC more, I guess. Which it really doesn't matter. But just says I don't think they'll stop providing hardware as long as the users and revenue are there. But growth is the issue. Without finding growth elsewhere, the shareholders won't accept it, especially with the $7 billion ABK scrutiny. So like these two, I feel like these two posts that he makes here don't they don't line up with each other,
Just like the
right?
other
Like
one
this should have
where
been the answer to this first question, right? Like it's just weird. Go ahead. What were you saying, baby? I'm sorry.
just like the other two, right? And it's the same thing here. And listen, um they are because yes, there are people that are just being circulated and it's not growing. And they talked about this and they explained that this is why they are exploring other ways, right? Obviously mobile, the Fire Stick, the apps on the TV. Like this is what they're going to do to go ahead and make sure that they can still provide a freaking console, a handheld, and Xbox is still around so that they can still make these amazing games that they're trying to deliver, right? That are expensive. So they're exploring other ways.
Agreed.
I
Agreed
don't know
100%.
how else it needs to be spelled out.
So over here, Tom Leg asks him, confirmed or just speculation based on their recent decisions? Jez answers, if some games are exclusive, it's going to be incidental at best. The case by case argument is by and large going to be multi-plat timed and with maybe a few, very few outliers. Okay. So again, just going into the answer originally with there are no more exclusives to, well, I mean, if there are some games, it's going to be incidental at best. Like again,
Which
it's
way is it?
like
What are we talking about?
all you're doing is saying the very exact thing that has been said. You didn't you just said if some games are exclusive, it's going to be incidental at best, right? Which means that you don't know, in fact, whether or not there is 100% no more exclusivity versus it not being. And again, honestly, at this point, it really doesn't matter.
It
But
yeah.
it's the narrative, because to these other people, it does, right? Like unfortunately, not everybody listens to us, so we can't calm some of these people's minds, and they go listen to these other doom and gloomers who are spreading this out
The
and
point of
talking that
investing on
Xbox is dying.
Xbox or their games
Exactly.
if they're not gonna make another box and their games are gonna be every what are we doing here? Playing PlayStation selling PlayStation 5 Pros? Is that the goal here? Like what's happening? This is so ridiculous.
It
It's
is. It
wild. It's
is.
wild.
It is. So it's like obviously, like I said, man, Jez knows his stuff, but he also knows that what he just wrote right here basically deletes his original message about there not being any, that it's dead, that there are no exclusives. When here you just said, well, I mean, I guess there's a possibility. It's like, well, then it's all made up, right? It's all just your opinion based off the other stuff that we already know, right? Um, and then there's one more little post over here. So I guess somebody asked him a question. I don't know where this actually came from, but he answered somebody saying it's because they don't want to just mandate it on teams that aren't set up yet for multi-platform simultaneous development. But the era of Xbox having permanent console exclusives is over.
I think it has more to do with the people that are expecting their games to be on other platforms. I think that's when the conversation really kicks in. Indiana Jones was meant to be on all platforms until they went ahead, they went in and they negotiated a, time exclusive. And that's just the reality. Um Doom was meant to be on other platforms. So, like, this is where it comes in and it becomes a case by case, right? We're not trying to have our games everywhere, but there are some games that this is just the way, right? They weren't planning to go ahead and lock up Call of Duty. So yes, they bought ABK, but this is one of those case by case that they're not going to lock up Call of Duty. Um or Minecraft. Like, does that make sense?
I
I'm
mean,
just
I
saying.
mean, that's the thing though, right? Like that's the reality. It's just a, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to have these scenarios be like, especially when you have them coming out and talking, right? Like Phil is talking about it. Matt Booty came out and spoke about it, right? We have official verbiage.
That's what's like it just it's difficult to understand when you have them come out here and essentially tell you what's what. And then you're like, well, you know what? This guy here must know best. Let me just ask him the specific questions and see what he tells me, and then I'm gonna run with it. That's what's
Facts.
odd to me.
Yeah, it's wild, right? DP was good, fam. I see you.
Yo,
Um, so
Baby, what's up?
yo, G maybe in the business. What's up, man? Um, so this is the thing, right? And this is the reality of what we need to like understand and why it needs to sound. Oh, KT to go. What's good, fam?
Yo, what's good?
This is the reality of what we need to kind of wrap our heads around and why the crying and all the bullshit needs to stop. Okay. They released Indiana Jones, and it is one of, well, for me, it's my game of the year. It overtook Hellblade 2 for me. Um, just because of the like the breadth of it, the scope of it. It's just a bigger experience with a lot more, and it's done at such a high level that it nudged it. Okay, just barely passed it for me, but it did. So they released my game of the year, and I loved every moment of it. We reviewed it. Shout out to Bethesda for hooking us up with the code, and we gave it a 10 out of 10. Phenomenal game.
Deserved.
Loved
Yes,
it. Loved it, loved it, loved it, from
absolutely.
start to finish. If you haven't checked out our review of it, go check it out. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think. But the point is that that game came out, right? Loved it, loved every moment of it. The fact that it's coming out on PlayStation in 4 months, 5 months, whatever it is, had no effect on me.
No,
It did not
no.
stop my enjoyment of that game. I didn't stop and say, "Man, I would be enjoying this so much more if I knew that this game wasn't coming to PlayStation."
And that's what's, when with the initial post where he has, the 5 games up there, and the initial reaction from somebody who commented, it said, any of them going to PlayStation. Like, that's that's the first feeling you get when you see these games, like, not the games or like, "Yo, I can't wait." Like, that's the reaction, like, making sure that, Xbox is not gonna put them anywhere else at any point.
Yep.
I don't understand it. That's hard for me to process. Like, really, that's your initial thought is PlayStation? It's kind of like what I said earlier with the Astro Bot win, right? To them, it's like, look, like it's all about Xbox and Xbox or whatever it is. It's all just linked to that. And if it was Hellblade that won Game of the Year, we would be freaking shouting out the studios, shouting out the games, so freaking pumped for Xbox. That's so amazing, well deserved. Like, that would be the conversation. So the idea that your initial thought when you think of games is the other box, it's it's not something that happens with me. So I don't get it why that's where the mind goes. Um but but yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous, and at the end of the day, it's just we get so much. We get so much.
Like, real quick, does that validate your purchase of the box? Like, what is it? Especially when you're looking at the difference. You look at both sides, you see the amount of games that are coming out. Like, what's happening here that, you need everything to be like, the money that they've been spending, right? So if they're telling you this is a case by case, you understand the situation. They've spent a lot of money, and some games are not just going to be on the one platform going into Game Pass, period.
Seriously. Yeah, I mean, I think listen, I think I forget somebody did a poll once before. I don't remember it, but I feel like the question is very simple, right? Would you rather have Xbox have all the exclusives that they make, but you go back to the time before when they didn't spend, 8 billion on Bethesda, almost 70 or whatever on ABK, right? And all those games are being made and being put into Game Pass day one when you didn't see them do all this investment in Game Pass and bring us day one games all the time. Remember, we don't, this is not like the investments that Xbox makes for us is not just about first party. Okay. We know for a fact that first party is the least amount of games that are released for any console, right? Third party makes up the vast majority of games that are released. And we get a lot of third party day and date games dropped into Game Pass. When we think about the games, 8 games that we're getting that are first party, right? When we think about that coming next year, we forget about the absolute banger third party games like Expedition 33, 33 Immortals we're still getting. We have the Atom Fall. Like there's so many big games coming next year, day and date on Game Pass. There's so many. Like I take listen,
The conversation of Xbox Gears and Forza, just that being it, right? You
yeah.
think of a world where you go back to that, yes, exclusive game, and I it's just crazy that I'm even talking about this because Halo, Gears, and Forza are not on PlayStation, right? So the conversation is like non-existent. Like this is not something that's taking place. So let's discuss. Um, but those games are still exclusive to our platform. They invested a lot of money to go and buy all these studios and make all these games. And it's like, yes, the fact that not all of them, but some, and you think of the year we had and the few that went or are going, and it's like, I don't know how you weight the two and you're like, yeah, let's go back to just Halo, Gears, and Forza being like the only games on our platform.
Yeah, I mean, listen, even if most were going, right, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, your choice is simple, right? Your choice is simple. You either or either are going to say, this makes me very angry, right? I can't stand Xbox is doing, right? I'm not going to stay on Xbox. I'm going to spend 5, 4, 700, however you want to get into the PlayStation ecosystem because you don't like PCs, right? You want to go to another console. So you're going to buy, or maybe you wait for a Switch 2 and you buy a Switch 2 and you make that your main, right? You get rid of your Xbox and then you proceed to purchase every Xbox game they release, either day and date if it's a multiplat, or 3, 4, 6 months after the release on Xbox, and you pay 70 every time. I don't know. I don't know.
It seems like
What
it's
is the
something so
solution for you?
simple, right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, what is the solution? Well, how do you, you're going to say you're going to leave Xbox and boycott the games? So you don't want to play those games, but you were just arguing that those games should be exclusive.
So
So if they were exclusive, you weren't going to play them?
situation where they want to brag about the games they didn't buy and supported and play, or are you here to play those games in Game Pass El Gratis for your $20 as part of your subscription, right? And to have a good time. Like what is it that we're talking about here? Is that a Galloper situation where that's taking place where you're like, "No, these games are ours," but you're not a part of it? Like, what's happening?
Like, I mean, that's the reality, right? Like, if you want to talk about, what you're gonna be spending, right? You're, as much as you may not look at it this way, I don't know. I don't know where you think Xbox loses, because if you're going to leave Xbox and go to PlayStation,
They probably have more to gain, by the way, when those games
you're
pop in.
dude, you're paying a hot $70 every time to play the same games you would have played on Xbox. It said you either had to wait and, wait 3 to 6 months, or maybe possibly the game doesn't come. We don't know, right? There's no 100% certainty out there, right? So you're going to spend the money. So instead of staying on Xbox, getting the best experience, because obviously Xbox Studio is going to make the game, work the best on an Xbox, right? The best that the Xbox can do, right? And then instead of getting it in Game Pass, so you spend $240 a year to have it on Game Pass, and then also have access to it on PC or mobile or on your TV, wherever else you want, because that $20 gets you everything, right? So you do that, spend $240 a year, or you say, nope, I'm going to screw Xbox. I'm leaving. They've lost my trust and desire. I'm not going to own their console. I'm just going to buy their games. How many games they're releasing this year? 8. Okay, 8 times 70, $560. Okay, I'll show you, Xbox. Here's my 560. Okay, you take that shit. Okay, you take it, and screw you, man. I'm done with you. I'm just gonna play your games. Okay, but I'm done with you. God damn, mother. I'll show them. I'll show them. They're gonna learn today. They only were gonna get 240 from me if I stood. but now I'm gonna give them 560. So, well, technically, you gotta take 30% off of that, right? So, what's that? 5? Right? Let's do the math.
And this is
Let's do the
again
math.
assuming that these games are all going to PlayStation, right? That's assuming. You don't know if or when these things are going to happen. And then on top of it, let's not forget those third-party deals that they bring into Game Pass. It's wild that this has to be talked about.
Agreed. So it's $168 that PlayStation makes on that 560 that you spent. So instead of 240, and you get everything, plus you get the third-party day and dates that you want to play because you know
20%
Expedition
off on the games you
33,
wanna buy.
33 Immortals, all that stuff. You want to play all that stuff. So let's keep that out of the conversation. Just for Xbox first party that you're upset about, you're going to give them 392 instead of 240. 392 instead of 240. You pay 560, they keep 392 instead of the 240. They're
Got
going to
it.
be devastated.
Yeah, they're
They're
gonna
going
be
to
a
be
mess.
devastated. They're not going to know. They're
Yeah,
going to be
you know
so
how to get
upset
them.
that you left.
You know how to
You're
get them.
showing them. You're going to show them.
They're gonna learn today.
They're gonna learn
But
today.
that's
No,
what
for
happens
sure.
when you go ahead and you lead with emotion rather than logic. And that's the problem.
I mean, listen, rewind time and you'll hear me doing the same shit, right? Rewind time, right? I get it, right? There was no idea that this would be the future that we were in, right? But we also could never quantify the impact of what it means to spend almost $100 billion to take your team that in all reality, as far as in the console space is concerned, was the quote unquote last place box, and it cost them $100 billion to let them look and say, okay, we're done with this console, we're third place bullshit. We're gonna take our box and we're gonna put it everywhere. And it's not just the box, but we're gonna take our brand. Xbox brand is being elevated to a whole nother place where you're going to be seeing consoles that you can purchase. You're seeing branded like handhelds that are in there, right? Every handheld is coming out saying, yeah, you can play Game Pass on there, right? They're hyping all this stuff up, right? And at the end of the day, they are just putting the Xbox brand in front of so many more people. Again, get out of America, right? Get out of America where obviously we're here in America, so we live and breathe this American ideas of what we have with Xbox. Xbox is an American company, right? You go to these other places in the world and Xbox means nothing. Xbox means nothing to them. This is just the reality. It's just the reality of what it is. So that means no matter what they did, if Outer Worlds 2 was only on Xbox and nowhere else, that game would not get played by the majority of the world out there in those streets. Okay. It's just what it is, right? This is just what it is. So for them, it's like, what means more? This idea of, oh, this console loyalty of there has to be on the box exclusively. You can't put it on another box, or put it on the other boxes, take the money from those boxes and feed our core. Okay, feed our core. And yes, I'm sorry, if you're somebody who does not have Game Pass, okay, if you don't, I understand. For you, things are a little different because you're going to buy the game regardless. So whether you buy it here or you buy it there,
It's all
it
the
is
same.
what it is.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you don't have Game Pass, you are not locked in, right? You're just looking at it like, I have an Xbox here, but I can also buy a PlayStation, whatever it is. Sure, it doesn't matter. But if you're spending monthly dollars for them every single time, right? You're their core. And for their core audience, they're doing nothing but giving more.
Absolutely.
They're doing
And let
nothing
me
but
ask you a
giving
question.
more.
We talked about this before, but it's not like even this idea that a galloper can't go on his PC or get a Fire Stick and not have to have an Xbox to have Xbox Game Pass. I mean, it's wild, right? So you can get it in some way or another. Like, you don't have to not have Game Pass if you're a developer. Like, they have access to the games if they wanted to for the same price as you.
Agreed. Agreed. Now, Google Poll says CMoney is not just Xbox, it's consoles in general. Mobile took over massive and PC. But that's the point, right? So no matter what you do, this is what I'm saying. It's not
But that's why
it
they
was
need to
about the
go ahead
fact that
and
it's
get into that field.
everywhere,
Yeah.
right? It's everywhere. They could do whatever they want. But if we are talking consoles, right? If we are talking specifically consoles, yeah, Switch and the PlayStation are much more known in these other countries than an Xbox is, right? Like that's just the facts,
Yeah.
right? So if we are looking at the console market and let's say people don't play on mobile, they don't play on PC and they only play on console, if you look outside of the US, Xbox is irrelevant to a lot of those places, okay? This is the way they get more money, right? This is how they make that money. They put their games out there. People love the games. People play the games. Listen, as much as it sounds whatever, and there's not going to be a big movement of it, but you damn well better believe that there will be a shift of not huge, but there will be a shift of consoles that will be moved because of this. Because what will happen is as this goes on, people will look towards Xbox games, and as that caliber continues to rise, as they have been doing, right? As that caliber continues to rise, more and more people are going to look at their games and say, "I don't want to wait."
Mhm.
Now, that
Of
may just
course.
mean getting it
Of
on PC.
course.
That may just mean subscribing to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and getting, access on your phone or your TV or whatever it is. Or for the people who love consoles, it will most certainly mean them either going to buy an X or S because they don't want to wait because they know
I
the
mean, once
caliber
you
of the
get your
games that Xbox
hands
makes.
on like Indiana Jones and you're like, "Oh shoot, I'm excited about this other game," and it's like they have to wait. So it may spark some people. There were some people that probably went and bought an Xbox for the holidays because of Indiana Jones and said, "Let me hop into this. I'm not waiting X amount of time," because they could, right?
100%.
Um,
100%.
I wanna go to G maybe. Go ahead, C.
G may be in the building. Thank you both for being here. Says Xbox is not destroying their brand, they are growing it by reinventing themselves. They are ahead of the change others will follow. Look how many businesses are now closed because they couldn't adapt.
To market
Facts to
changes.
market changes. 100%. 100%. Yeah, I don't believe that idea. Um I don't believe that idea. I don't believe that Xbox is doing anything to themselves in a negative way. I believe this is 100% a positive move forward. The only people are who feel this way are the people who were like myself. Again, I'm not taking myself out of it. I was again, you rewind time not too long ago, you know, you'll see that I did not believe these things were happening. I did not think that it would make sense for it to happen. But, people make new decisions with new information. And I, you know, I understand business. And when you look at what's happening, you could see what's happening here. The success is crazy. Even if you just take Call of Duty, if you just take Call of Duty and look at what has happened from them taking over it,
Yep.
right? And putting it everywhere as far as mobile, all this stuff, putting in Game Pass day one, what it meant for them. It's huge.
And again,
And they're
showing that
investing.
a game like Call of Duty can still sell the way it's sold and is selling and be a part of Game Pass, and you can grab that bag. Grab that bag and still sell it on other platforms, and people will still buy it on Xbox. So what message is it sending out there to those big games, right? And to G maybe's point as well. I mean, listen, knowing how to adapt is a very big deal. Look at PlayStation right now.
They don't know
Look
what
at where
they
they
don't know what
are
to
because
do.
they cannot adapt, and the things that they did try to adapt, they couldn't figure out how to do it. And I mean, no one wants to end up in that mess.
Agreed. Agreed. Fillmore Podcast says it'll be
Phil.
funny if the Xbox porting strategy is only for this generation. That would be wild. That would be wild. I mean, look, the reality is, and you know, again, we talk about it, and right now they want to make as much money as possible. Obviously, always they want to do that. And obviously, if they go ahead and do this, it'll be crazy for them to walk it back later, because why, once it's already a known quantity, why would you start losing those sales from other platforms? But that being said, they will do the numbers. Like, understand this, everything, this is all fluid. As much as for Jez to say something, and he does know better, right? But for him to say something definitive is wild, because in business there is no definitive, right? There's none, no matter who you're looking at. They are always able and willing to change and adapt their strategy depending on what they need, depending on what makes sense for them. And I could tell you right now, I promise you, if they start looking at the numbers of what it's costing them to do these ports over what is being sold, then that strategy will change. And they will stop worrying about other consoles and just leave it on PC, mobile, and Xbox. And that will be it. If they see that the numbers don't move the way they want them to move. If the numbers are moving the way they want them to move, then expect that they will continue to do this. It's just is what it is. And again, that's never going to stop us from loving Xbox. Xbox is the shit. I always will. And I'm never gonna stop laughing at the ponies for funding everything that we love. Just keep spending. Wait till the Nintendo people get involved. You too, fools. You too. Keep buying. Keep buying the games. I want more in my Game Pass. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't understand. Like, if you don't think about this for a second, right? If you have Game Pass, right, and you pay your subscription, all these people around you are paying for you to enhance your life with these free games. Xbox is essentially, their Xbox is essentially making you a CEO of a company. Okay, they're making you a CEO of a company. Everybody else does the work and you just reap the benefits, right? So they're doing all the work. You've already put in your time. Now you just sit back and you just collect. So all you're doing is watching everybody else go to work, spend their money on games, so that money can be put back into your service where you get those games for free. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. You just sit back, you relax, you play, you have fun. Remember that Indiana Jones, if you're playing right now, Indiana Jones, and you say to yourself, man, I love this game, just ask yourself, what's the difference for you that in 4 or 5 months, 6 months, whatever, PlayStation is going to have that game? What's the difference? Is it because you can't go on Twitter and say, ha ha ha, look at this amazing game we have, and you're never going to get it unless you, I don't know, play it on your PC or
a fire stick,
or, on your mobile device via Game Pass Ultimate.
But
I can't really stop you from doing that.
PlayStation. That's why.
But not on your PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? Not on your PlayStation. It's just like at a certain point, you know what I'm saying? Like we have to adapt too. We have to grow and realize what's going on. And it's like,
And
then you got to choose your stance.
and let them grow. I think that they're the ones putting out the money. They're the ones working on these games. And at the end of the day, like, it's their business and they know best about their business. They're not going to do anything that it's going to, like Matt Booty said, we're not going to hurt the brand, right? So they're not going to go ahead and do anything, and obviously hurting the brand only hurts them. So I think that that's the thing to think about
Agreed.
when it comes to this stuff. At the end of the day, the decisions are theirs to make.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, either really, it all comes down to one basic, simple idea. If you look at this news and you say to yourself, fuck this shit, I'm out. Okay? And you leave. You get rid of your Xbox. Just ask yourself, are you still going to buy the games? Because if you're still going to buy the games, you're not showing Xbox anything. They don't care. They're telling you this is an Xbox because they could give three shits whether or not you buy an Xbox console or not. They're going to make the Xbox console continuously for as long as people buy Xbox consoles. But they don't give a shit if you buy it or not.
They still
just
want
want-
you to buy their software.
They want you
They
to
want the
subscribe to Game
engagement.
Pass or buy the games. Either way, they're good. Either way, the only person who's losing is you.
Yeah.
Because you already invested in your Xbox, you already got it. So it's a sunk cost, right? So if you get rid of it, sure, it's going to lessen the amount of money you spend for the next thing, but it's still more money that you're investing
And
to
by the
play
way-
the same thing, and you got to invest more when you have that other console because you don't get it on Game Pass. Go ahead, baby girl.
These games are $70 for now.
True that. We
For
don't know what
now.
that will be later on.
Mm-hmm.
So, look, with that, I think we're good. Anything else that you feel about this? Or
I was checking out G Maybe's comment here.
G Maybe says even Macy's recognizes they need to rebrand. They have store closures as part of that strategy, as part of their relaunch of their brand. Companies have to adapt or they will be gone. Facts. I mean, it's just
We don't have Toys R Us around here. Macy scooped them up, and they have in
Facts.
some stores Toys R Us in there. But I mean, don't be Toys R Us. Don't be PlayStation.
true. It's true.
He's right.
I
Absolutely.
mean, it just is what it is. And let's not forget, right? Before you guys try to act like Xbox would be immune to the situation, we already know for a fact that Xbox was on the chopping block. We know that Phil, I mean, it's 10 years now, but it was, right? It was on the chopping block. Phil saved that shit. And the decisions that were made are all leading to what we are now because they need to keep growing. They need to keep adapting. And that's what they're doing.
And if they didn't, there wouldn't be an Xbox right now. And
Yep.
they
Bro,
wouldn't be making games.
people said putting the games on PC was going to kill them. It didn't. People said putting their day one games in Game Pass was going to kill them. It didn't. Bro, you guys, like the one time they buckled, they lost a generation because they buckled, and that was the Xbox One. If they wouldn't have buckled and they just kept going, everything they thought was going to happen happened. They would have been ahead of the curve. But they buckled to the pressure of people who want to tell them what they should be doing with their business, right? They're not doing that now. They're not doing that now.
Do that
And if
anymore.
you can take anything from the history of your love of the Xbox brand and what they've done for you, look at where they everything was future focused. They came out with an Xbox with the broadband internet built in, right? They did all this stuff because they knew what was necessary. They started the online Xbox Live revolution. All these other places copied them. Xbox is the one who has led the way. And right now, you're sitting here doubting them, right?
That's why.
Fine.
Yeah.
Fine, doubt them. But come the time when everybody else is like, all right, now we got to put our games everywhere. And they're already ahead of the curve. It doesn't affect them. It doesn't hurt them because they've already made those moves and made those
Doesn't
changes.
affect us.
Doesn't affect us. We'll be good to go. You know what I'm saying? What I need them to do is I need them to do like what's the name? Nvidia, right? GeForce Now. They have the people who didn't believe in streaming, right? So they came out with their thing, and people who believe got into the subscribe to their service, right? Guess what? When it started taking off, they said, fuck this shit, we're raising everything up because now everybody wants to get in here, but they didn't do it to us. You know what I'm saying? So what Xbox needs to implement is like a founders program. Like, hey, when all this stuff happened, you stayed, you get to keep paying 20. Everybody else is 30, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else is 30. Make these people pay. You know what I'm saying?
Make them pay.
We got the homie, the real OG. Thank you both for being here, man. Thank you for that $5 super chat.
Oh, nice.
Says, first of all, that shit is
Right?
dope. The guy, it's like the Godfather.
Yes.
For an old gamer like me, Game Pass is the best deal out there. Gaming is an expensive hobby.
It is. It is.
Facts.
And until Game
Facts.
Pass, like, you don't realize how much money you put out. Like, yes, as a collector's edition, that's dope. You're like, okay, I gotta have it. You gotta have it. But the amount of games in freaking Game Pass and the cost is just freaking
Dude,
wild.
life
It's
changes. Everybody's
wild.
situation is different. Everything changes. There was a time when Doodle and I only had 2 kids, and that was a different time where you can spend a different type of money and not care. And then we had 4 kids, and then we have 6 kids. You know what I'm saying? So you got to kind of look at things for what it is. And I can tell you right now, Game Pass, there's no beating that. There's no
Nope.
beating that. None. None. The way that Game Pass has provided like endless amounts of fun. You know what I'm saying? Like endless amounts of content that you could just sit down and enjoy at any moment. They do more, they release more than you would even know is in there because you're not paying attention to everything they drop.
Exactly.
It's like
And
Netflix.
there's
You know what I'm
something
saying?
for everybody. That's the
There's
thing.
always something for everybody. There's always something to play. It's just what it is, man. It's just what it is. So, you know, it'd be what it be. Memecast says, did you guys have twins every time? No, just the last 2 times. So we had 2 separate and then 2 twins. So each one of our twins is literally 10 years after the first 2 kids. So the first kid was born 10 years later, almost to the day. We had 1 set of twins, and then our daughter was born a couple years after our first one, and 10 years after that, we had our second set of twins, which is wild. It's like a reset. You know what I'm saying? God hit that reset button on us.
Stop having kids.
Listen, we ain't have no more, but I'm so happy we had the ones we
Thank
had.
goodness, yeah.
Because I
What
can't
a
even
blessing,
imagine
man.
going
What a
back
blessing.
to not having them. That's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. That being said, we're gonna stop it right there.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. It felt good to be back on a Sunday. It's been a while,
Baby
man.
says, double your pleasure,
Double your fun, baby.
baby.
That's it. That's it. No identicals. No identicals.
No.
All of them are fraternal. So no identicals. Parky says, at a minimum, we know CMoney had fun at least 5 times. Facts. Facts.
I love how you gave me the pony.
In the beginning. I changed it later.
Thank you. What's up, love? Thank you for being here. Oh, we got into
man.
Call of Duty last night. It was so good.
Oh man, we gotta get. I would definitely want to play some more. Oh, so good.
CMoney running around with a Santa hat and a robe. I'm like,
Doing my thing. All right. We're gonna get out of here, man. Thank you guys so much. Again, it was such a fun time being back on a Sunday. We've had a few weeks off, so it's felt good. So thank you guys for rocking with us, man. Thank you to everyone who super chatted, man. We appreciate y'all so much. Remember, 6 kids, you know what I'm saying? It makes a difference for us. And then thank you. Shout out to Mash, man, for gifting another
Mash,
10
that was so awesome.
members,
Thank you.
man. That's very, very dope of you. So we appreciate you, homie. Thank you so much.
I just look at the questions coming in.
But they Doodle have fun. Hey, if it ain't fun, okay, you don't get twins. Okay. This is the rule. Okay. If it ain't fun, you don't get twins. Nobody gets twins out of just random crap. You know what I'm saying? It's just
listen. I don't know what's TMI.
All right, listen. The kids speak for themselves. Leave us alone. Let's just say there wouldn't be those other times if it wasn't fun. You know what I'm saying? But that being said, thank you guys. We do appreciate each and every one. Shout out to all of our Patreon members and all of our YouTube members. You guys are awesome. Fun fact, we're actually going to be back later on today. That's right. There will be another stream from us. We have a game that we're going to be playing, actually. So it's pretty dope. We'll go live right before Web Dave's show. So not go live. We'll be finished right before Web Dave's show, but it'll be a good time. So you'll see us a little later. It's going to be fun. But with that, remember, that we will be back Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time.
That's
Okay?
what's wild. Dark Angelic. It doesn't run in the family.
It doesn't
Um,
have. It
It's our
doesn't run the
thing.
family. It does now, though. It
It
does
does
now.
now. Our
It does now.
kids.
All right, all right. And with that, we're gonna go ahead and end the show the way we end every single show. Doodle.
Yes,
We're done.
we are.
Until next time.
You're intruding.
You're intruding.